Friday Night Football takes us to Regina, where Cody Fajardo and the Roughriders are looking to bounce back after back-to-back losses against the Argos, but it won't be easy welcoming the 4-1 BC Lions.
This is game time like the Super Bowl. You got to see your whole people on the show. My brothers know this blood and pain made us reach the pole. So we gon' die on this road before we take it home. This is game time. This is game time. It's game time. This is game time. This is game time.
As the leader of this football team, it all starts with number 7. He's got Duke hopefully feeling better. Let's see what Cody can do at home.
Coming off a disappointing win last week over Hamilton. What? Did I just say win? Yeah, I did. This kid is so good. He's disappointed when he wins.
The leading rusher in the CFL, Jamal, see you tomorrow. But you know what's even more impressive than that? He's also leading the league in yards after catch with 202 yards.
Oh, you want a rusher? He has 3 runs of 20-plus yards this season, but the Riders giving up a league-low rushing yards. So how will James Butler factor tonight? He has shown versatility. He's got 20 catches for 192 yards. Maybe we'll see him more as a receiver in this one, and maybe he'll come on in and see all of us for a little Friday Night Football. I'm Gabe Burness. That is David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel. They are fired up for this game tonight. We will get to their thoughts in just a moment. But first, let us go to Mosaic and join our Sarah Orleski, who has much more on tonight's game. Sarah?
Yeah, Kate, well, following up on really what you and the panel spoke about just right off the top of the show, you come into this game here tonight, and we're starting to see a battle of Western teams when you look at the schedules now. For the Lions, it's going to be 3 of their next 5 games against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the Riders have spoken about how they know that they need to get things going. After those 2 losses against Toronto, they sit at 4-3. They sit 4th in the West Division right now. They know that they need to get wins. They need to try to keep pace with those teams above them. This is a game Cody Fajardo said that they can look at as a measuring stick to see how it is that they're doing. We heard mention Cody Fajardo back in the lineup, a huge boost. Obviously, the weapons not at the disposal last week. They get a bunch of the regulars back into the lineup, so a big boost for the Riders coming into this game. As for the Lions, they look to be able to continue to find different ways to win. That's something that Rick Campbell said after that win against Hamilton, that it doesn't all have to be on Nathan Rourke's shoulders, and that it is a positive sign that they are finding different ways to win with the defense playing a huge role. We will see what happens here tonight. It is a gorgeous night for football here, but the Western battles are heating up this week, and going forward from this point on, we'll see what they have in store for us tonight.
All right, let us talk now about the Saskatchewan Roughriders and getting a number of players back tonight. It starts with, of course, Cody Fajardo. They were ravaged by COVID. And then you have a guy like Duke Williams, who was suspended as well. This is a different-looking team than we saw against the Argos last weekend, Matt.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Dolagala, 13-18, 131 yards in his first start. You know, I felt for the kid. Cody's coming back, and a 70% Cody Fajardo is better than 100% young quarterback against the Toronto Argonauts. And tonight, he's going to be tested, right? Because he's playing with an MCL. I've done that. And you don't have all your faculties around you all the time, and you can't be 100%. So you got to find ways to win. And Cody Fajardo is just that. He's a winner. He's got his talent around him. And I think he's going to have to rely on Jamal Morrow. Jamal Morrow last week, 10 carries for 25 yards, 2.5 yards a carry. That's not good enough. I don't care whether you're a guy like Cody Fajardo or Jake Delgado. You're going to need that running game, and Cody's going to have to rely on that because his ability to run the football, Milt, is going to be limited tonight.
And with that limited ability to run the football, he's going to be sitting in that pocket. I mean, he's going to be throwing the ball. And one of the guys he's going to be throwing the ball to is hopefully Duke Williams. And Duke Williams didn't play last week. It wasn't because he was injured. It was because he's suspended. So what does that mean? Duke Williams didn't get paid last week. Duke Williams couldn't eat because he didn't didn't get paid, so we know he's hungry. He's hungry to have that Duke Williams game, which we haven't seen this year. We haven't seen the Duke Williams of 2018 when he was in Edmonton and he dominated the league, having 9 catches of 40 yards or more. You've done this year, hadn't done much since he's been with Saskatchewan, but we know what he's capable of. Cody Fajardo just needs to get him the ball. Duke Williams is that receiver who doesn't need to be wide open. He could have 2 or 3 DBs draped on him, and he can make the catch. He just needs those opportunities, and the opportunities, and I guarantee you he's hungry for those opportunities tonight.
Yeah, if Cody's banged, which we know he is, like you said, you want to get the ball tomorrow, get him involved in the game and take some pressure off of Cody. The linebacker core, they lost Bo Lukamba. That was a big loss for the BC Lions. But Ben Haladik last week was really good. He came in, he went into that Will linebacker spot. This week he moved into Mac, but they were really impressed what they saw with him at Will. Now Jordan Williams will move to Will a little more his position. He's a speed guy, and Ben will play in the middle. But you're talking about they didn't even see a big drop-off. And Lukamba, we know how great he's been. So he'll have a test tonight. Ben Haladik.
That's a big boy, too. 6'4", 235, second-year player from UBC. He can flat out get her done.
And he can
Jordan
run,
Williams bumps to Will. That's crazy when you're upseating him at middle linebacker.
All right, let's go to Nathan Rourke for a moment. And you spoke about him off the top there, too, Matt, that he didn't have a great game. He actually said the defense won us the game. I didn't feel like I played well enough to win. Rick Campbell and Sarah said this, too, alluded after, that they didn't need him to play like Superman to win. So that's certainly a good thing. We expect more out of him tonight, though, don't we, Melts?
We expect more, and the reason why he's able to give more is that offensive line. You think about this offensive line, it's basically the same cast of characters, what they did in the last couple of years. And I know Mike O'Reilly was their quarterback, but they were giving up sacks left and right. This year, so far in 5 games, they've given up 3 sacks. That is 4 sacks. That's impressive. They're allowing that young quarterback to sit back there. And I know he gets the ball out of his hand a lot faster than Mike O'Reilly, but he's really not getting pressure. And when you're getting your first start, as a quarterback, you're the leader of this team, that helps out a lot. That helps out also that they got a running game. So, yes, Nathan Rourke is getting all the credit, but I guarantee you he'll be the first one to say it's because of what those boys are doing up front.
When I heard his comments after the game, if it was anybody, or not say anybody, if it was a lot of other people, I would have not believed that. I wouldn't think it was authentic to say that. A lot of guys will say that after a game. But with him, I believe him. I 100% feel that that's how he feels. That's just how he's wired. And one thing that's difficult for him, I think, is, a lot of young quarterbacks who are considered athletic, and you might have went through this, they want to prove to everybody that they're a passer. And so he's not running the ball as much as he should. And I think he's such a weapon when he runs the ball. If he can it helps the rest of the offense. It helps him out. And it's just, he's been so good with his arm. I think if he uses legs more, it's really going to help him.
Puts a lot of pressure on the opposing defense.
He's so darn athletic.
Davis, this is clear. I was a passer when I came up here. I just couldn't read a defense. So I started throwing picks one after another, which I did a lot. I had to pull it down and make something happen with my legs. Nathan Rourke, he goes through progressions really quickly. And I love his accountability last week. And this guy picked up the slack. I think Keon Hatcher had an off night, and think as a whole his receivers did. But lucky, he balled out. He had his best game of the season, in my opinion. You see the stats there, and he found the end zone on a beautiful pitch and catch on a nice corner route when Rourke climbed the pocket and threw a strike with him 40 yards down the field. So, hey, Nathan Rourke, I think, is leading this football team, and I think the veteran receiving core he has around him, the veteran players, Kate, I really believe that they'll follow his lead. They heard what he said. He says, no, it ain't on you, son. It ain't on you. We got to pick it up, and we'll be there for you.
And look, we're going to expect ups and downs throughout this season for sure. And if that's as bad as it gets, I mean, I think you got to be pretty confident in BC right now. And look at so far, Rourke in the red zone. He's had 14 trips so far, 86 points, averaging 66.14, 12 for 14 inside the 20-yard line, 7 TDs and 0 interceptions.
The way I feel right now is I didn't feel like I played well enough to win this game.
As a receiver, Lucky Whitehead, drop interception.
I had some turnovers, missed some throws that you can't do and expect to win a football game.
You don't get to this level as a quarterback unless you have some serious resolve. He showed that.
Goes deep, has Lucky Whitehead, touchdown BC. The Lions improve to 4-1.
It's a bittersweet feeling right now for me.
He's going to be harder on himself than any of you or anyone else.
3, 2, 1, go. 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 3, 2, 1
And here are your numbers powered by FanDuel. The BC Lions are a half-point road favorite against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. BC opened up as a 2.5-point favorite before the news came out that Cody Fajardo would return under center. The Riders have beaten the Lions in 8 straight head-to-head meetings. Now, with Fajardo back for Saskatchewan, his passing total has been set at 246.5 yards. He is plus 300 to score a touchdown tonight. He has reached the end zone in 2 of his 6 starts so far this season. On the other side, Nathan Rourke's passing yards total going to be set at 278.5 yards. Rourke has averaged 321 passing yards per game, but is coming off his lowest total of the season when he threw for just 250 against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And Kean Schaefer-Baker's receiving total going to be set at 57.5 yards. Schaefer-Baker was held without a reception last week, but in the 3 previous games with Fajardo at QB, he averaged 78 yards with 2 TDs. Time to put together another FanDuel same-game parlay. The Roughriders come into this one as slight underdogs, but that's the game line. Let's take a look at player props. And anything that catches your eye, Chaz?
He's banged up. He doesn't have healthy receivers. He's been struggling. I like Cody Fajardo to shut everybody up today, have a huge game at home. At a 246.5 is his number. I like him over passing yards for Cody Fajardo.
Kate, what catches my eye is the Rourke train. Nathan Rourke, 278.5 yards passing. Yeah, I think he's going to get that in 3 quarters, Kate. That's how much I believe in this kid on the road to move him 5-1 and take control and stay in the race in the West.
Well, I'm going with Duke Williams, and Duke Williams is not having a Duke Williams season, but for the average receiver, he's still playing well. He's averaging 63.8 yards a game, and that's with a game where he didn't have 1 single yard. The over-under on him is 63.5. Duke is going to have a big game, so he'll be over for those yards.
And very quickly, I just did all the math in my head. Put those together, and you get plus 399 on your ticket tonight. So let's take a look one more time and recap. Chez, you have Cody Fajardo over 246.5 passing yards. Matt, you like Nathan Rourke over the 278.5. And Milt, you are taking Duke Williams over 63.5 receiving yards.
And you think about what Jamal Morrow, what he does in the game, how special he is.
Morrow takes the handoff. Morrow's got some room. Jamal Morrow to the end zone. Touchdown.
James Butler is playing well.
Butler gets a first down, fights for more, still fighting. Heck of an effort by James Butler.
A quarterback's best friend, of course, is a good offensive line. His second best friend is a great running back.
All right, about that time we should take a look at the top rushing leaders so far this season. Jamal Morrow leading the way with 437 yards. Andrew Harris right behind at 407. Kadeem Cash and Carey 379. James Butler 319. And Antwi there with 319 as well. But with more on Butler, here is Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, when you look back to last week, the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense allowed Andrew Harris to run for 143 yards. One of the reasons they lost that game against the Argos. The challenge for that defense is equally as tough tonight, trying to stop James Butler. Different style running back than Andrew Harris, but equally as dangerous. The BC Lions come into this game leading the league, running the football at 121 yards per game. So what are the keys to success for the BC Lion run game? Well, it starts with the alignment from James Butler. Often he'll be real deep from the line of scrimmage, sometimes up to 8 yards away. That allows the offensive line to get the angles they need on the blocks and to be patient. The backside's got to seal any sort of pursuit to the football. That's big on big, offense against defensive line. Maybe the most important key, get an offensive lineman on the second level to a linebacker. So far, I've been talking about the offensive line. Now what about James Butler? What's his job? Well, his job is to inspire by making people miss and running through people. 1 guy, 2 guys against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's not done yet. 3, 4, 5 guys, and about 2 feet off the ground going backwards, he picks up another 4 or 5. That inspires the whole offense. So, just like last week, Andrew Harris had 143. James Butler is the goal. They've got to stop. The Saskatchewan defense has to stop the run again tonight.
So we have a great West battle coming up here with BC Lions taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But tomorrow night, oh baby, it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Calgary Stampeders. Winnipeg still at a perfect 7-0, 14 points, leading the way in the West.
A huge matchup between the Blue Bombers and Stampeders.
And he's got a completion to Malik Henry. Henry's got the Jets on 89 yards. Looking towards the end zone. He's got it. Oh, bounces up and is picked off to Mariel Houston. The football finish.
It should be an excellent rematch on July 30th.
Yes, we are expecting an excellent rematch tomorrow. So they faced each other back in week 6. It was 26-19 for Bombers in that one. But you gotta think the way Calgary's coming into this game, Milt, that the Stamps have a chance to hand the Bombers their first loss of the season, correct?
Do they?
I think so.
Well, we'll see. But let me start off by saying that was maybe one of the greatest games I've seen. And I don't care if you're talking about NFL, CFL, high school, college, whatever you may say. That was one of the greatest games I've seen in a long time. Both of those teams came out with some great energy. Can they do it again? The team who can come out with that same energy will have a great opportunity of winning this game. I mean, we're talking maybe the best two teams in the league right now, and they're getting a chance to play again after 2 weeks. It's going to be a tough battle. We know how well Bo Levi Mitchell plays after a bye week.
Here it comes, Matty. He's going to take Winnipeg.
But we know about these Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But just as Kate alluded to, eventually these Blue Bombers are going to lose a game. And don't get me wrong, I love Winnipeg, and I know I'm going to get killed for saying this.
He's doing it. He's really doing it.
The Stamps are going to win this.
Bye, Milt.
I'm going to get you, Milt.
I think they're going to win this one. Winnipeg, I love you, but eventually they have to lose, right?
Did someone record that? Making
Milt?
sure.
Come on, dude. Seriously, give your head a shake. We're talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
I know.
And they are the champions. They went on the road. Look, Calgary's been kicking it. They went on vacation. People went back home. They couldn't get back to practice this week.
Kicking it.
You know, and Winnipeg, they had to go to Edmonton and play a hard-nosed Elks football team and put together a 15-play 9-minute and 22-second drive in the end of that football game to actually win it. I know they're taxed, and I know they're on the road in Calgary, and it's been a tough grind. But we're talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
I know.
Getting Nick Dembski back, right? And I think that's a huge identity and filling in the blanks for that football team. Schoen has done a nice job
in
replace of Greg Ellingson last week. Had a big game. But I think Dembski back, I think getting Jesse Briggs back on the defensive side of the ball is a good thing. I know that Hallett's starting at free safety. It's something I'd be focusing on Bo Levi Mitchell. But I'm telling you right now, until they're defeated, I'm staying with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, finding a way to win. This football team has got it going on right now.
The only way you have a chance that I see teams have a chance to beat Winnipeg is by the long ball and big plays. You go punch for punch and blow for blow with the Bombers.
Got the right guy.
Teams can't do it, exactly. And to my point, the way Bo's been throwing the football, Malik Henry, Kamar Jordan, he had an excellent game last week in regards to what he was doing. Obviously, it didn't end well for him, and he also had a blunder, and he said after that game, I want to play again tomorrow. Well, he's had to wait 2 weeks. But if you talk about just getting open and how good they've looked offensively, this is a team that has a shot. That being said, I'm not betting against the Bombers. I'm not. I can't do it.
Let me tell you something else. This game is going to come down to the field goal kickers. Who has the best field goal kickers? Without question.
Without question, the Stampeders. Without question, the Stamps.
Yes. So I think that's a big reason. Winnipeg, you know I love you. Going to Winnipeg was the best decision I've made besides marrying my wife. I love Winnipeg.
I respect that.
Yes, but I got to be honest. I got to go with what I feel.
Respect that.
All right, so we're expecting a monster rematch here, and you can tune in to see who's correct. Milt and I both like the Stamps. Maddie and Ches, they're on the Bombers. It all begins Saturday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Plan Saturday night, cancel them, and please spend your night with us instead. All right, don't go anywhere. We still have plenty more coming up. By the way, let's chat about this game. Let's get back to Saskatchewan, to Sarah Lesky, standing by with Jamal Morrow. That's coming up next. Well, the Riders, they've been banged up in recent weeks, but they have a number of players returning tonight. These fans certainly hoping they can crush some pills and watch their team get back on track. All right, let's take a look now at 10-plus yard gains from the line of scrimmage. Look who is at this top. Jamal Morrow with 17. Kadeem Cash and Carey with 12. Nathan Rourke, a QB on this list at 9. James Butler, 8. And Andrew Harris at 8 as well. As promised, here is our Sarah Lesky with Morrow.
Well, we know how dynamic this ground game can be for the Riders. It was quiet, though, last week. What's the key to establishing it early in this one?
Just being patient and making sure I'm hitting the right holes, being patient with my reads, and let the offensive line do what they do, and, make it easier on me.
You look at this team trying to rebound after the 2 losses to Toronto. What is the mood of this group going into this game?
Oh, we're excited. We had an opportunity to play, and especially a West opponent, so all we care about is going out there and competing and playing our best game.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Best of luck to the 3 of you making your picks tonight. Ches, let's begin with you.
BC Lions.
That's it?
Yeah, I like
That's all he got.
Yeah, I like what Nathan is going to do. I love his mentality. I think they're going to get Lucky Whitehead involved. They have big play potential, and they'll be motivated. Last night, the Rascals at OVO Fest represented BC and Vancouver to the finals. The boys will be motivated by that.
How late were you out at that?
I was out past my bedtime.
Okay.
Let's
11:30.
Let's continue.
Okay,
Yes.
we're leaving it at that. Yeah, I'm going to go with the BC Lions, too. And I think the key is Nathan Rourke. Not so much throwing the ball. I think, like I said, he's going to get 275.5. I'm taking the over there. He'll get that in 3 quarters. But I think it's going to be his legs that make the difference. 2 weeks ago against Winnipeg, 0 carries, 0 yards. Last week, 4 for 8. Nathan Rourke, you saw it there on that board, 9 carries for over 10 yards. When he can get it going on the ground, boy, it puts that extra added pressure on that defense. I think it's a key for him tonight. Settle him down, use your legs, and then the deep balls and those shots will come for him.
How old was Nathan Rourke on August 5th, 2017? How old was he?
Probably 18.
That was the last time. Wow. This is BC Lions beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That was the last time.
Wow.
And I know the Roughriders just played last Sunday, but a lot of their key players weren't in that game. They're getting those key players back now. They're playing at home. Rourke hadn't played in an atmosphere like this. I think he's still going to have a big game, but I think the Roughriders are going to win this game and get their season back on track.
It's going to tell us a lot about BC.
Yeah.
I think this really is.
I said the Bombers were going to lose and the Roughriders are going to win.
What is wrong with you tonight?
I got to go to Winnipeg in a couple of weeks, too. I'm in trouble.
A lot of people trying to figure out if they're playing Cody too early with this knee.
Well,
right?
I was going to say, with the ligament injury, too, right? Coming off the COVID list, we didn't think we potentially thought he wouldn't be there tonight, but he is. And, man, do they need him after those back-to-back losses. But a big one tonight for the Saskatchewan Roughriders as they look to get back on track against Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions. Kickoff from Mosaic coming up next.
Bethel Thompson, who is sacked by Charleston Hughes, and the ball comes out.
Ball pops loose and it's scooped up. Larry Dean, who came across and absolutely hammered Arbuckle.
Intercepted Derek Moncrief, heading towards the end zone, and he nearly got there.
Picked off, and this one's going to go all the way back. Pick 6 the other way.
Fajardo overthrows the intended target. A little bit of a hitch in the giddy-up of Cody Fajardo as he heads off the field. Fajardo watched out of the pocket. Throws into the end zone. Touchdown, Saskatchewan. Fajardo is taken down, and it looks like Fajardo is hurt.
If it's up to me, I'm playing. I think everybody feels like we're on the same page, and I should be able to be healthy enough to go out there and play some football.
Friday Night Football takes us to Regina, where the Roughriders looking to bounce back after 2 losses to the Argos, but it will not be easy. The BC Lions, who are 4-1, currently in town, and Nathan Rourke also looking for a bit of a better performance as we welcome you inside the CFL on TSN studio on this Friday night. Kate Burness alongside Davis Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stiegel. Let's go. Keys to the game, Davis Sanchez.
I know you love this guy, Milt, but Duke Williams is the key. If Cody's got to get the ball out, it's obvious who you go to when you need a play, and so it's TJ Lee and Marcus Sales. the halfbacks. Who wins those battles between the two halfbacks and Duke Williams on those downfield balls?
Yeah, I think it's Jamal Morrow for Saskatchewan, controlling line of scrimmage, run the football, take pressure off of Cody so they can pass the football. But I think it's for Nathan Rourke, let's just be clear, y'all. He was 22 at 30 last week for 73% completion, right? 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. And those 2 picks are really are what he's talking about in his performance, and he was disappointed in that. But I think the key to this game is him pulling it down and running. I've talked about it this week, and this kid's got some great ability to make people miss Milt.
Right.
And I think when he can do that, he puts added extra pressure on the defense, and then the big shots down the field come.
The Roughriders do something better than any team in the league. They do what? They get after the quarterback. They're leading the league with 26 sacks. They also do something worse than the rest of everybody in the league. They give up the most sacks. They've given up 25, and the BC line is only given up 4. So this game is going to be won at the line of scrimmage. Can the Roughriders get after the BC Lions? Can the Roughriders protect their quarterback who's ailing right now? That's going to be the key, and I think it's going to be the biggest reason why they win or lose this game.
Yeah.
And can Nathan Rourke perform in front of that hostile crowd at Mosaic Stadium? A great West battle. Can't wait for tomorrow night as well. But first, we've got the Riders. We got the BC Lions. We'll get you there and join Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter right after this.
Friday night, we see the Roughriders hosting the BC Lions.
Wasting no time to the end zone. The Lions strike again. Near side, picked off. And this one's going to go all the way back midfield and more. It's Marshall. Marshall to the 5. Pick 6 the other way.
The only way you can get higher in the standings is by playing those West opponents. We have a good opportunity to knock some teams off and kind of control our own destiny.
It's another day in paradise on the prairies. A beautiful 27 degrees as we get set for a big-time West Division battle at Mosaic Stadium. The 4-1 BC Lions, a loss to the Bombers, the only blemish on their record, roll into town to face the Riders squad looking to snap a 2-game slide. And a good spot to be here for the Riders. They've been excellent at home over the last 20 games, and they've won 8 in a row here against the Lions.
Yeah, and in their last home game against Toronto, Cody Fajardo, their starting quarterback, did not play, but that was because of COVID protocols, not because of his knee. So the question was, will he or won't he tonight with a bye next week? Medical staff and Cody, the coaching staff, all said they should go. He's their best chance to win. So Cody Fajardo starts tonight, and we'll go head-to-head with Nathan Rourke. This is start number 8 for him. His first one was right here when he was told just an hour before kickoff. That was a bumpy start for Nathan Rourke, but he showed some great resilience.
Rick Campbell 6 and 8 versus the Riders so far. Just the second road game of the season for BC, looking for their first 5-1 start since 2007. On the other side, Craig Dickinson has never lost to the BC Lions. He is 5-0. His team, of course, having dropped the last 2. A huge West Division battle here at Mosaic. Great crowd in Regina as we get set. You can feel it in the air tonight. We got a big one between the Riders and the Lions as BC just 1 loss on the year. This is just their second game against the division. And this will be taken just inside the 15, back to the 20. Brought up the near sideline by Shai Ross. Takes it outside the 35. And a look at Nathan Rourke.
Well, flirting with a record in completion percentage in a season, as you saw in the opening. He's at 78.8 completion percentage. The record held by Ricky Ray at 77.2% back in 2013. 5 starts, 4-1 tonight, but this is start number 8 in his journey. The first one, as I mentioned, right here at Mosaic in hostile territory.
24-year-old has been sacked just 4 times this season. Crowd here trying to get in his head early. Starts from just outside his own 30. Pressure coming, and they get there early. Rourke will be taken down on the first play of the game. 3 members of the line getting home.
I'm going to give the assist early on here to the secondary, too, because Rourke had a bit of a pocket. He's been real good at recognizing defenses and getting the ball out quickly. Larry Dean shows blitz and then doesn't come, so it's straight 4-man pressure, and it just collapsed the pocket. Kabir's there. Charleston Hughes looking for sack number 3 on the season. Did he get credit for that one or not?
Anthony Lanier, they gave him credit for it.
Okay.
5 sacks on the season for Lanier. He was the guy that you couldn't see in there. 2nd and 14 for Rourke here early. Passing situation, can he get it away? Pressure again. Oh, nice move to get free. Eventually tracked down from behind. And looks like he might be spotted just shy of a first down, but an excellent effort from Rourke to look for 14. They'll give him 13.
Yeah, it really was a great effort. I mean, a couple of times where he wanted to load it up a second time. Bounces outside here after that pocket starts to collapse again. And then that move just to get defender up in the air. And he's going to be close enough where Campbell could probably go ahead and go for this. I mean, inside of a yard.
That'll put Rourke over 200 yards rushing on the year.
Well, maybe he won't. He's going to look like...
Well, look at where they spotted. They spotted it back at the 44. It looked like originally it would have been up at the 45.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why. And that can come from the command center as well to get the spot correct in real time. But when they first spotted the ball, it was inside of a yard. And at 2 yards, he's not going to gamble.
Flintoff will come out to kick it away. Mario Alford waits for it back on his own 10. He'll hustle over to his left. It's going to bounce past him and all the way into and out of the end zone here with 13:02 on the clock. In the first quarter, we get our first look at Cody Fajardo.
Well, if you're wondering, you know, if this is the right decision, I think it was. I mean, the fact that he's got a knee brace on, they're saying it's an MCL strain. It's not his plant leg. He said he's had this type of injury before, so he's had it in college on both legs, as a matter of fact, so he understands how to manage it. But best chance to win, you mentioned the record. Cody Fajardo here at Mosaic Stadium, 15-3.
Very impressive at home. Lions on top, 1-0 after a booming kick from Flintoff. Fajardo starts on his 40. Near side, looking for Williams, tried to one-hand it. Purifoy in coverage as we take a look at this Riders starting offense, brought to you by Expedia.
Well, this is game 8, and Logan Ferland is the 3rd center for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Logan Bandy out, Dan Clark out early in the season. Duke Williams has served his suspension and is back in the lineup starting at slot back.
319 yards on the season, 2nd on the team behind Schaefer Baker. Empty backfield here for Fajardo, 6 wide, steps back in the pocket, pressure coming, gets it away before he's taken down, and it will be a completion, but not near enough. As he did find Tevin Jones, who came back to that ball, but he was wrapped up immediately.
Yeah, you know, I think the crowd here in Saskatchewan and Rider fans that are watching on TV are going to hold their breath every time a defender gets near number 7, because they're, you know, concerned obviously about that knee. But you know, I think when he runs, he can protect himself and hook slide. He's okay in the pocket. It's when he's trying to fight off attack.
That was Watcham on his back that time, looking for his 2nd sack of the year. Fajardo avoided it. And now the return taken back outside the 25 after a 49-yard kick. Nathan Rourke will have the ball for a 2nd time when we return here at Mosaic. BC Lions getting back in the win column last week against Hamilton, and here's a look at the day for Nathan Rourke.
That was play number 1, a 44-yarder to Lucky Whitehead, and you know, I think when you look at the numbers, you would say he started hot, and now teams are starting to figure out a little bit of his tendencies, and that's the numbers have gone down a little bit, but he got the win, and that was most important against a good Hamilton defense.
He has thrown multiple interceptions in 3 straight, multiple touchdowns as well, though 14 touchdowns on the year to go along with 6 interceptions. Lucky Whitehead, huge last week, 111 yards, catching 8 of 9 targets thrown his way. They will start on their own 28 this time. Handed off, nowhere to go, wrapped up immediately. That was Anthony Lanier again. Let's take a look at this BC offense.
Joel Figueroa is going to be head-to-head with Charleston Hughes, who is looking for one more sack to tie Joe Mumford on the all-time list. There's James Butler. This is an offense that rushes the ball better than any team in the league so far this season at 121 per game. And that was a bit of a challenge for Saskatchewan on defense against Toronto, where Andrew Harris had 143 yards rushing.
And even after that, the Riders still come into the game first in the league, 74.4 yards allowed per game on the ground. Rourke going here, batted away. Knocked down at the line by DeMarcus Christmas. And a nice start for this Riders defense.
Yeah, this is for an offensive line. This is frustrating because you've got them held up at the line of scrimmage. You've created a nice pocket for your quarterback, and then this happens where you just get, as a defensive lineman, your hands up in the throwing lane, and what looks like had the potential to be a first down and a completion gets knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Flintoff lets this fly. Bounces at the 40. Taken there by Alford. 51-yard kick. Short return to the far side of the field, and that is where Cody Fajardo, excellent at home, will get the ball for the second time today. He's completed one pass. He will look for more with his team down 1-0 for the Lions.
Lots of discussion as to whether or not Cody Fajardo should sit this game out. This was Wolfville when he aggravated that knee injury. Sean Oakman on a sack that got him low and buckled that knee a little bit. Limped the rest of the game. They've determined that it's probably not going to completely heal over the next couple of weeks. Best chance to win, he goes with the brace.
Starts here on his own 38. They'll hand it off up to about the 40 against this BC Lions defense.
Yeah, defense has been solid up front, you know, across the board, both middle of the pack in the sack department. Very good against the run in their own right, under 100 yards per game. Their linebacking core, Uches Purefoy seems to be, whether the stat line says it or not, he seems to be around the ball every single play. And Gary Peters in that back end has 3 interceptions, and there's a few guys tied at 3. 3 of them are playing in this game tonight. Gary Peters, Nick Marshall, and Derek Moncrief.
2nd and 8 for Fajardo. Pressure right up the middle. Looks good here on the move. Rolling to his right down the field. Up for grabs, and they got it. At the 40, it is hauled in. Big play by Fajardo as he finds the 24-year-old Emelis. 32 yards.
Well, this is a great sign for Rider fans to see Cody Fajardo get out of the pocket and get out of trouble. This was a blitz that went through the B gap that was clean. He made one man miss, got outside. That was Josh Banks, and hits Emelis down the field in the scramble drill.
Gary Peters got turned around there. Emelis had eyes on the ball and managed to haul it in. Just over 9 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. Fajardo now over the middle, and that one in and out of the hands of Duke Williams, who's catching balls at less than a 50% rate so far this season.
Boy, against the BC Lions, how about being perfect? Perfect 5-0 so far. Cody Fajardo completing almost 80% of his passes with a 7-to-4 touchdown interception ratio. And just missed Duke Williams, or he may have scored on that play.
Had a lot of room if he was able to haul that one in. Sets up a 2nd and 10 though on the BC 38. Morrow will move out to the right of Fajardo. 3-man pressure right over the middle. That's a first down as the ball is hauled in by Schaefer Baker, who's having an excellent 2nd season with the Riders.
He is, but was quiet last week. I mean, you know, Cody Fajardo did not start in that game. It was Jake Delagala, but targeted 7 times, did not have a catch last week. Schaefer Baker.
Prior to that, he'd hauled in 82% of the balls thrown his way, so an off week. Let's just describe it as that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they'll tuck it into the belly of the running back Morrow, and he lunges ahead down towards the 20 as the Riders are putting together the best drive of this football game so far.
Yeah, no, and a lot of eyes on the offensive line too for Saskatchewan, having to make the change to move Logan Furland over Logan Bandy's in the protocol. So Jason Moss's group, he's wondering, he's got Josiah St. John starting at guard. His first start of the season, played a little bit last week.
6 yards on that pickup for Morrow. Sets up 2nd and 4. They'll go back to him again. And tripped up immediately. Gets it down to the 20 and not much further. And that'll bring him 3rd down as we see some pushing and shoving and whistles aplenty here midway through the first quarter.
Sione Tehema is back in the lineup for the BC Lions, number 47, and he's going to be active. I mean, this is, first of all, it's TJ Lee that gets first contact. He's going to jump up and run support from the secondary, but I'm going to keep my eye on 47 for the BC Lions again tonight, because started off strong with 3 sacks out of the gate.
100th career game for TJ Lee. Nice mark for him. Yes, he would have been there sooner, dealt with an injury, a big injury earlier in his career. I'm sure his wife Brittany and his 2 kids are watching tonight, watching Daddy play game 100. Brett Lothrow for the lead from 28 yards. 21 of 25 on the season. And he puts that one right down the middle. And the Riders will go on top for the first time here tonight. 3-1 the lead midway through the first quarter for the home side at Mosaic. Welcome back, and a look at 2 of the all-time greats right there. Hey, Suits?
Yeah, absolutely. Charleston Hughes with a sack last week against Toronto ties John Bowman. Can pass him if he gets one tonight, and tied Joe Mumford. So we will be watching the matchup between he and Joel Figueroa. In fact, we're keeping track, and they've gone head-to-head 4 times. Bit of a soft right now, although Charleston Hughes got involved in the run game, stopping James Butler on an earlier play.
And he almost had a sack, too. He was in on that one that ended up getting credited to Anthony Lanier, his 5th of the season. Rourke starts on his own 40, trailing by a couple of points here in the first quarter. Pressure from behind. Ball pops loose, and are the Riders on it? Pressure on Rourke. Can they turn it on? Who it is? Charleston Hughes.
Charleston Hughes
Knocks it out. That's his 3rd forced fumble of the season.
He just gets out of his stance so quickly, and this one will give to 39 in the matchup. Again, it's Joel Figueroa. We had a nice talk with him on Zoom this week in his matchup against Hughes, and he has to get those feet moving to get him wide and past Nathan Rourke. Good get off for Charleston Hughes to get around the corner and get his left hand on the throwing arm of Rourke.
Does get credit for a sack here on that forced fumble, so that moves him into a tie with Montford 5th all time. What a way to do it, too, in style, hey?
He has some fun playing the game, I would think. Take a look at that. Look.
Fajardo with 3 options to his right, looks to his left, throws to his left, and there's a flag on the play, multiple flags. Delvin Breaux took down Duke Williams.
Maybe incidental. I think that's what Delvin Breaux is probably arguing right here, that Duke Williams.
Defensive pass interference, BC number 23. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down, Saskatchewan.
Well, he didn't get incidental. He got pass interference, which is point of foul. There's Duke Williams right there. He's going to run this post route. And it looked like Delvin Breaux tried to cut underneath and clipped his legs, but they're calling it pass interference, so it's spot foul where the foul occurred.
20-yard bump down the field will take it inside the 10. First and goal from the 8 for Fajardo. Morrow slides back into his quarterback's left. Will pick up some pressure. Fajardo to the end zone. Williams tries to go up, batted away. Covered well by TJ Lee, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, I think the pressure here just forced Cody Fajardo to throw off his back heel, and when he did that, he just couldn't get enough on the throw. Watch him fade away from this one. Pressure coming, and the Lion, it was a fast break to get to number 7 there. Throws falling away and just doesn't get enough on it to give Duke Williams a chance, although he almost got over the top of Lee.
Second down now for Fajardo. Pressure again from the Lions. Throws it quickly again to the corner, and he's got a touchdown, Saskatchewan. Kevin Jones, 2nd of the year, goes up and gets it.
It's a depleted lineup last week due to COVID and injuries and suspensions for Saskatchewan. About 35% of their starters not in the lineup, and that worked in favor of Tevin Jones because he got some playing time. He got some targets, and he has gained some confidence. This is just a 50-50 ball. He goes up and gets it.
14 working against 14 there. It was Marcus Sales unable to make a play on that one. Cody Fajardo, his 9th touchdown pass of the season. Lother out to make it a 10-1 ball game as the Riders, their defense sets the table for their offense, and Cody Fajardo takes care of business the rest of the way. 2nd career touchdown for Tevin Jones, the first-year Rider out of Memphis. Tevin Jones had a touchdown last week. He's got another one here tonight. A nice start for the Riders. And for more on that, let's send it down to Sarah Orleski.
Well, Dustin, a nice start for the Riders, but when you think about this Riders team in recent weeks, they've been making headlines, but so often it's been for all of the wrong reasons. You know, they want to play physical. They've talked about that. They want to have swagger, but Cody Fajardo said they also know they need to clean it up. They have a bit of a bad boy persona going on right now, and that's not what they want to have. He told us that after that game in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, they had a players-only meeting. They kicked out the coaches. They let guys get stuff off their chest. He feels that the best teams are player-led, police themselves. Sometimes the message obviously comes better from other teammates than it does from coaches. They're looking to turn things around here and change the narrative of this group.
Oh, they like what they've seen so far here. We do have a whistle on this kick. The Riders come into this game averaging just 3.3 points per first quarter this year, so this has got to feel good with everything they've been through.
Yeah, and I think when you get to the point of a players-only meeting, you know, that's when you really can make some progress. I mean, at the end of the day, the guys have to own it. And Duke Williams, who was suspended last week because of what happened in Wolfville, apologized to his teammates, apologized to the fan base and his coaching staff, and basically said, hey, it'll never happen again. We've got to get things straightened out, like Sarah said. And it sounds and looks like the Riders are doing that.
We will try this again as it is kicked away. Ross is going to have to hustle here, and that will take a bounce just inside the 30, and a flag on the play.
It's a live ball after 10 yards.
Hopping all over that.
Illegal kick, Saskatchewan, number 70. Ball will be placed 30 yards in advance of the kick. First down, BC.
Well, they're saying it hit the white stripe just before it was touched.
And I think it did. I think they got it. That's a tight call.
And you can take a look. Yeah, just before it was touched out of bounds, because that's a live ball once it travels 10 yards.
It'll be set now up at the 50. A good field position here for the BC Lions. If you look at the Riders' defense so far, pressure and a sack, a run that was stuffed at the line. The only play BC's really had was Rourke scrambling out of the pocket, picking up 12 yards on the play. That's it. Outside of that, Riders have been all over the young quarterback. Starts here on his 50, 1st and 10. Quickly gets this one away to Whitehead, his first catch of the game against this Riders starting defense.
Well, let's look at it. Charleston Hughes gets a second straight start. He's got sack number 3. He's up the list and tied with Joe Montfort all time. We're going to continue to watch him. One of the best linebacking corps collectively in the league, but Larry Dean and Darnell Sankey are 1 and 2 on defensive plays league-wide. Nick Marshall has 3 interceptions, as does Derek Moncrief. That's tied for the league lead as well.
2nd and 1. And pushing ahead, needed the 50, sure looked like he got it. And that'll keep this offense on the field.
But you're right about the play of the defense so far against the BC Lion offense that started the season averaging over 500 yards of net offense per game. Jason Shivers has started to get more tendencies on what they like to do. And that's not just Nathan Rourke in start number 8 tonight. That's reading the entire style of Gordon Maximon, the offensive coordinator, and what he likes to do offensively with Rourke as their leader.
Working from the 49, they'll hand it off to Butler, cuts it back up the middle. Heavy collision down inside the 45, but falls forward towards the 40.
We did this in the pregame, showing you a little bit of why the Lions have been successful running the ball with James Butler. It starts up front and them working together. This offensive line in BC have played together all 5 games. Not one missed game from any one of the 5 up front.
Getting some consistency early in the year will go a long way. Rourke again, trying to take it around the left side of the line, looking for some space. Can be stopped before he could get to the 40.
I don't think so. I don't think he got there. Need to get past the 40 by a yard. He's short of the 40.
Bring up 3rd down. You're not going anywhere with this offense, though, aren't you? Keeping them out there?
Well, yeah, now you're a yard or just inside a yard. I think you definitely go for it. And that's exactly what Rick Campbell wants to do.
3rd and 1. Rourke slides up under center again. Pushing forward. Second push might be enough. Initial push forward didn't look like it was there.
Where the game is won and lost. This, when you see short yardage down on the goal line or a 3rd down and 1, it's about leverage. Low man wins here. And I think that old line firing off got just a little bit lower, and Rourke with second effort gives it a push and gets the first. Tense moments for coaches.
Fingers crossed, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Minute and a half remaining on the clock here in the opening quarter. 4 options to the right for Rourke. That's where he's going to look. Finds a man wide open in the middle of the field, and that is taken down towards the 20. First catch of the game for Javon Catoy.
Yeah, not covered down here, so this is just a bust from the Saskatchewan secondary, because Catoy is the 4th receiver to that side of the field, so that's basically a quad set and just not picked up, dropped in coverage. Not sure if it was Mike Edom that was supposed to snug up on him.
19 yards for Catoy. Now they'll give it to Butler, and Butler is tracked down before he can get to the 15. Larry Dean in on the tackle.
This time it's going to be Charleston Hughes flopping side, so he's going against Kent Perkins, and this is big on big. This offensive line trying to get the block and then get their running back to spring out that right side off tackle. Big on big with the push, and there's that little hold to the linebacker court.
8th play of the drive for BC. Lucky Whitehead, top of your screen. Butler's going to slide out there now as well. 4 options to the left for Rourke. That's where he's going to go, and he's got a completion down to the 10. First catch of the game for Dominic Rhymes.
And Dominic Rhymes comes back on a curl. And the reason that Nathan Rourke knew that this was going to be man coverage is because he had his running back out here, and when the running back went out, Larry Dean went out to cover him. So basically, Nathan Rourke, before he gets the ball in his hand, says, I know I got man because the linebacker went to cover my running back. I'm going to throw it to Dominic Rhymes right over the middle in that curl.
First and goal from the 10. BC 80% in the red zone this year. They'll give it to Butler. Stays on his feet, makes one man miss, then Dean came in and was able to track him down and hold him in place until Amari Henderson could come and finish the job. Excellent start here at Mosaic. It is the Riders at home on top. 10-1 they lead, looking to make it 9 in a row against the Lions. Welcome back to Regina, everyone. The Riders at home up 10-1 on the BC Lions, and it really jumps off the page for you there outside of 10-1.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing that does jump off the page is 10 points for Saskatchewan. They've been sort of right around 3 points in the first quarter, so slow starters offensively. They get their starting quarterback back. That's got to inspire the entire offense. Pretty good play calling to mix up pass and run from Jason Moss. So Cody Fajardo returning to the starting lineup has made a difference.
And that turnover, huge in this game. The only turnover that we've seen so far ended up in points just moments later. BC Lions looking to answer back here as we get set to start the second quarter. First of two huge ones in the West this weekend. Stamps, Bombers, tomorrow late afternoon in Calgary. Rourke, 3 of 4 for 34 yards. Looks for a big chunk here from the Rider 13. Dumps it off to his running back. Nowhere to go. Wrapped up immediately by Moncrief and taken down, and that'll bring up third down for BC.
Well, the BC Lions had been and have been the #1 team in the league in the red zone. You mentioned, Dustin, they're at about 80% coming into this game, but just a great tackle in the open field. Derek Moncrief, one-on-one with lots of room for James Butler. He's made lots of guys miss in that situation. Not that time on Derek Moncrief.
Sean White, 7 for 7 on the year. Make it 8 for 8. He's the only kicker in the league to remain at 100% on the season. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow as Bo Levi Mitchell and the Stampeders host Willie Jefferson and the Bombers under the lights in Calgary. Kickoff begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on TSN.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
Hey, this is the rubber meets the road part of the regular season. West versus West, East versus East. You can separate if you're Winnipeg. You can catch up if you're Calgary and BC with wins. Riders fighting to stay in that fight and in the race. So was Edmonton.
Bombers unbeaten.
Yeah.
And Calgary near perfect after a bye week for what seems like forever. So something's got to give at McMahon tomorrow. Morrow with some room on the far side of the field. He'll take it outside the 50 for a Rider first down.
Boy, the accuracy on that throw from Cody Fajardo is just outstanding, because what you want to do is throw it just in front so the running back can, or receiver sometimes, can catch it while looking downfield and making sure he knows where the defenders are. And that was just let out there nicely for Jamal Moore.
First and 10 from the 52, turns and hands it off to Morrow. A huge hole here again. Jamal Morrow down to the 40, stays on his feet, tracked down and taken down at the 30 by Quincy Bourget, but 28 hard yards on the ground for Jamal Morrow.
Yeah, nice little move here by Evan Johnson to bounce off the line of scrimmage and then step up and make a great block right at the point of attack for Jamal Morrow. He gets on to that second level, makes a hit on Jordan Williams, and as soon as he does that, Morrow has the hole he needs to get to the secondary.
No shortage of bursts there from Morrow. Now out into the flat, Justin McGinnis takes it down inside the 25. A big follow-up there after the huge play from Jamal Morrow, who's having an incredible season.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you look at all-purpose numbers. He got a bunch of yards returning early in the season, and now has started to accumulate more and more yards from the line of scrimmage offensively as he's become the feature back and #1 guy. Shaq Cooper, by the way, was signed for Saskatchewan because Frankie Hickson is out tonight, not dressed.
Yeah, Cooper was around earlier in the season, brought back in right now, was of course with BC to start 2021. 2nd and 2. Morrow again, and he takes it down inside the 20. That's a first down on the strength of the legs of number 25.
Get, you know, it starts, you call it big on big, which is O-line against D-line. Big guy against big guy. Pretty simple. But if you can get big on linebacker, you get the run game going. Run game didn't get going for Saskatchewan last week against Toronto. One of the reasons they lost. Toronto ran the ball well, and last week Saskatchewan did not.
41 yards on 5 carries for Jamal Morrow, averaging over 5 yards per carry on the season. Fajardo, far side, up a little high inside. Schaefer Baker tried to haul it in with his left hand, but couldn't do it.
Yeah, sometimes it's as simple as a miss. You saw Cody Fajardo. The timing was good. He threw it just before Keon Schaefer Baker came out of his break. Ball's in the air there, but accuracy not.
Schaefer Baker, 1 catch for 11 yards so far in this game. Riders are 4 of 6 on second down. That's the situation they find themselves in here. 2nd and 10. Low snap. Fajardo picks it up over the middle. He's got Williams towards the end zone. Is he in? It's close. Little bit of a delay here at Mosaic.
They're saying no.
Just shy.
All scoring or potential scoring plays are reviewed by the command center, so they'll take a look at it.
But give us another look here.
But you see this dig route crosser over the middle, and did he go down by contact before the ball broke the plane? Remember, it's got to be the football.
Cody Fajardo now slides in under center, pushes ahead over the pile, and he's in. Touchdown, Fajardo. Riders open it up a bit here in the second quarter in Mosaic.
A little adjustment from Jason Moss, the play caller and offensive coordinator for Saskatchewan. Calling this game, starts this drive with a little swing pass to Jamal Morrow, gets the receivers going in a swing pass to get success on first down, get it right down on the doorstep, and Cody Fajardo finishes the drive off.
7 plays, 70-yard drive for Fajardo. Lothar comes out for the extra points. And he knocks that one right down the gut. Riders on top, 17-4. Cody Fajardo, if you got him in your fantasy lineup, you like the first part of this football game. He's got 1 through the air, and now he's got 1 on the ground. They're fired up in the stands at Mosaic.
Practice, it was much better. I'll take it.
Nice smile on the face there of Cody Fajardo with everything he's been dealing with the last little while. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. And the Riders offensively have come to play here tonight at home.
I like the play calling from Jason Moss on that last series. He went with a completely different play package. Started out with that little swing pass to Jamal Morrow, and that really got their offense in a rhythm and finish it off with a quarterback sneak.
Shai Ross backed up inside his own 5. Now to the 15-20. Ross stumbles ahead, just shy of the 25 on the return. Nathan Rourke, 4 of 5 for 38 yards, but he finds himself trailing
Saskatchewan number 32
by 13 points on the road here on Friday Night Football.
Some real good play calling from Jason Moss on that last series where he starts with the swing pass with Jamal Morrow, something that I know there are some in the media that aren't a big fan of the 1-yard throw, but that's why you do it. You pull the defense closer to the line of scrimmage, you get your playmakers in space, then that dig route to Duke Williams ends up being 7 plays, 70 yards, finished by number 7.
For 17 points so far here in the first half.
You're going to have to kick this one over again. It was offside by the Riders on that kickoff after the touchdown, so Nathan Rourke will get better field position.
I'll back him up. They'll now kick this off from the 25. Medvik set to boot it away with just over 10 minutes on the clock here in the opening half. Ross waits for it. Couple steps back, takes it at the 5, back up to the 20, near sideline towards the 30, tackle down, and nowhere to go. Great start for the Riders. For more on that, let's send it down to Sarah Orlesky.
Well, that great start, 10 points in the first quarter, a season high for the Riders. And Cody Fajardo told me that he feels this is a group that's had to really settle in, that fast starts obviously haven't been their hallmark so far this season. But Craig Dickinson said some of that responsibility has to be bared by the coaches as well, that he feels that they needed to do a better job of giving their group plays that they can be successful with early. We heard Soups talk about the play calling of Jason Moss is paying off at this point.
Both sides of the ball, impressive for Saskatchewan so far. Rourke, 4 of 5 for 38. Starts here on his own 28. Takes the handoff to Butler. Spins. Nice play. Looks for Whitehead. Bounces it in there. And it falls incomplete. Spin cycle there from the young quarterback.
Quite the move just to avoid the sack and the loss. But, you know, sometimes Rourke has got to pull the ball like this. Like, you can't always give it to James Butler or the defense will not respect it. That's Darnell Sankey who forced him to at least not get the corner and get outside. But how about that spinorama?
After 97 tackles last year, Sankey doesn't miss very much. Still forced to throw to fall incomplete, sets up 2nd and 10 for Rourke. 4 receivers to his left. The pressure coming. Has some time. Has a man wide open up at midfield, and it's Rhymes. He'll take it down into Rider territory. 2nd catch of the game for Dominic Rhymes.
Yeah, blitz coming here from Derek Moncrief, and it was Nathan Rourke creating a throwing lane with his footwork. Moncrief's going to come off the edge from the top right-hand corner of your screen. Here he comes, number 42, and he is clean around the corner. Slips and falls, but Rourke steps up, finds a throwing lane, and a 30-yard gain to Dominic Rhymes in between the DBs and the linebackers.
On the Rider 52, quick one to Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead looking for some room on the far side of the field, stays on his feet, takes it down almost all the way to the 35. Getting it in bunches now. That one goes for 16 to Lucky Whitehead.
Rider down on the field. We'll see who is nicked here. Jordan Maksimic, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, now taking a page out of Jason Moss's book. Like that might be Roland Milligan who's down. That quick wide receiver screen to Lucky Whitehead. Yeah, get him the ball. Get number 7 the ball. Great discussion this week with Jordan Maksimic, and the only Canadian-born offensive coordinator in the CFL. Out of St. Albert, just outside of Edmonton.
Was a chat earlier with Maksimic, and this is kind of the offense that he and Rourke are running right now.
Well, they're distributing the ball to all of their targets, and then you add the run game too with Butler at the bottom of that graphic, and you see 167 yards receiving for Butler out of the backfield. Nathan Rourke is assessing information quickly. That's what Jordan Maksimic told us. He said so far beyond his years, this is only start number 8, and he can understand the information that the defense is giving him in a split second, and they'll give away what they're doing, but can you recognize it, can you do it quickly, and can you get it out? And that's what Nathan Rourke has done well beyond his years. And Jordan Maksimic said it's a pleasure working with him, and he's worked with some great ones.
Yeah, he has. Michael Riley has a very close relationship with Riley. Of course, Riley here last year mentoring Nathan Rourke. Rourke near side has a completion. First catch of the game for Hatcher.
See how quick that was? See how quick Nathan Rourke realized the matchup that he wanted? It was 1-2, bang, ball's gone. 1-2 step, ball out. I mean, it doesn't matter how quick you are off the line of scrimmage. Not even Charleston Hughes can get there if the ball's going to be out of his hands that quickly.
Lions 3 for 7 on 2nd down here in the first half. 2nd and 5 is what they face right here. 3-man pressure might get through. Rourke's got to scramble out to his right, trying to get away. Still on his feet. Now he'll send it down the field. And it falls incomplete, looking for Catoy. And he got his hands on it, but it fell down by his feet.
Boy, Charleston Hughes with a great spin move here. I believe he's working on Kent Perkins, the right tackle. He's going to make this great spin move on the inside. Tried to talk to Joel Figueroa about Charleston Hughes' best moves, and he was reluctant to give us too much of the information. He said, you know, I don't want you guys to talk about it publicly, and then Charleston changes things up. Good inside move there.
Sean White from 38. Wide right, first miss of the year for Sean White. That'll be brought back by Alford. And he will be taken down just outside the end zone. Sean White now 8 of 9 on the season. BC Lions had to settle for a field goal attempt because of this. Look at that move. Get out of my way, Charleston Hughes. Forcing Rourke out of the pocket, making plays for this Riders defense. Welcome back to Regina, everyone. There's a look at the two offensive coordinators tonight. For more on their relationship, let's send it down to Sarah Orlesky.
Well, Dustin, they go back years actually to their days with the Ottawa Redblacks back in 2018. Jordan Maximic, taking over as offensive coordinator, has done a great job with the BC Lions, and we had the chance to speak to him. I asked him about the relationship that he has with Jason Moss. In fact, he said that he is the #1 influence that he has had. Now, Jordan didn't have a conventional rise through the coaching ranks for it, but when I asked Jason Moss about him, he said from the moment that he talked to him in Ottawa, he knew that he could be a successful coach. He's so detail-oriented, has nothing but great things to say about him. And I'll tell you more about him in just a little bit.
Well, he might have been able to draw something up a little bit better there. That's a tough spot to be in. You're on the one.
Yeah, you got to run it. I mean, you don't want to take a sack there, and so you're thinking, if you're Jason Moss, as they were talking about the two, and Sarah mentioning the two, and how Jordan Maximic has learned so much from Moss. I mean, it's the right call for Jason Moss to go fullback and then run the ball, get a little bit of breathing room, but see how Jamal Morrow makes the decision to try and bounce it, because the point of attack is shut down. That gets him behind the goal line again, and now the safety. The BC Lions will get the ball back and 2 points.
Decision of Alford to bring out that missed field goal, put his team in a really tough spot, and now they ended up surrendering a couple.
But, you know, you can't question the call. I mean, you put fullback in there. You want to get 4 or 5 yards.
You just want to kind of push right behind that fullback.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And that was just a decision.
Let's send it back down to Sarah Orlesky to finish that story.
Okay, let me finish it up quickly for you, Dustin, for it. But Jason brought Jordan with him to Edmonton when he was head coach of the Edmonton football team. And it was the relationship that they had for it that's just continued to grow for it. And Jason said, as I mentioned, Jordan is so detail-oriented. He knew he would be a successful coach. He loves seeing it. Now, granted, they're both in the same division, so he's a little bit more cautious about it, but loves to see the success that he's had. And he said it's absolutely no surprise that the Lions are having success with this offense and Jordan at the helm.
Well, Maximic's about to get an opportunity to go to work again, and this ball comes down to Ross. A little spin move to get himself outside the 35, but no further. The BC trailing here by 11. He'll get the ball with 6:48 on the clock.
Yeah, you know, when Sarah mentioned not real conventional journey for Jordan Maximic, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, Nathan Rourke. You know, that's
during the return, holding BC #2. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down BC.
His journey being, you know, the last sort of level that he played at and played the game was high school. Usually what you see is offensive coordinators that have played in the Canadian Football League at some point or another that then take over. Jason Moss was a starting quarterback for a year. So that usually is sort of the progression for them. So unconventional for Jordan Maximic, but he has learned from Jason Moss. He's learned from Carson Walsh, who came from the Mark Trestman. You know, basically his system and philosophy. And he said, you know what, I trust my play calls, I trust the play sheet, and it's all about the preparation during the week. And boy, it's been a dynamic offense to watch. Maximic in charge, and this is really only his 20th game as an offensive coordinator.
He's got a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of experience either, but they seem to work very well together. Now the handoff to Butler, takes it up to about the 25. Close to half of what they needed on first down. Campbell and the Lions, they win here today. In their first 5-1 start since 2007. They find themselves in a little bit of a hole right now. High ball, Hatcher goes up in traffic and hauls it in. His second catch of the game goes for 13. There's an injured rider in pain down on the field just outside the 35.
That's Mike Edom, and he's looking at that elbow. We'll take a look. I want to show you a matchup. This is Charleston Hughes. This time it's right tackle Kent Perkins, not Joel Figueroa. Hughes is usually to the short side of the field, so the ball in the hash mark, he's on the short side. And that time Kent Perkins, he wins. He shuts him down. Watch, one of the premier pass rushers in the game's history. Get his game plan together. He's got his eyes upfield, looking at what move he wants to make, but he hesitates. Perkins shuts him down, and that allows Rourke to complete right over the middle. Now let's see what happened to Edom, who, well, it looks like he got his arm caught in between Darnell Sankey and the hit on Keon Hatcher.
Sankey doesn't hit lightly. Across. And right there, upper arm, shoulder area.
Well, Mike Edom's having an all-star caliber season too at the free safety, so hopefully he makes a speedy recovery. I'd say he and Tunde Adeleke are the top two guys so far this year at that position.
Edom last week, 5 tackles, had a sack as well, a couple sacks in the year. 27 tackles, knocked down, has an interception as well, and now he's down on a knee on the sideline in pain. 1st and 10 for the Lions on their own 38, trailing 17-6 at Mosaic. They'll toss it out to Butler. He takes it out to the 45, hit heavily, but a nice pickup on 1st down for 24.
Yeah, one way to slow down a premier pass rusher is to run the ball at him. So basically, you don't try and necessarily run away, because sometimes, like Charleston Hughes, can be so quick that they can run it down. So why not just run right at them and make the premier pass rusher a run stopper?
Second and 3 now. 3 receivers to the right for Rourke. Back to Butler again, wrapped up immediately and taken down by Jaden Dalkey.
He played
tackle for a loss.
Sorry, Dustin, he played the play. I mean, the late Don Matthews used to say in our defensive huddle, sometimes you don't worry about your assignment. If you know what the play is, go ahead and play the play. Just go ahead and you see the play. You've done your film work, so you're not guessing. You know what they're going to do, and just go make the play. Exactly what Dalkey did.
Former University of Alberta Golden Bear Jaden Dalkey, 54th overall pick in 2022. 51-yard kick brought back up by Mario Alford to about the 25-yard line. Oh, Friday Night Football, it's trivia time. Who holds the Friday Night Football single game passing yards record?
Well, there's some candidates. I mean,
the ball's in flight.
AC's got to be a candidate in that group. Ricky Ray's got to be a candidate.
10-yard penalty.
I mean, Doug Flutie could be in that.
I was going to say Doug Flutie could be a candidate.
Man, that's a good one. That is a good one. I might go with Ricky Ray.
I'm gonna Google it and then pretend I knew it all along. That's what I'm gonna do. Ricky Ray, Ricky had some big games. That's
Don't Google, man. You got to stop it. When you get older, it's important to not Google everything.
Well, I have more knowledge when I'm older.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But you also got to keep the brain working.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's important too.
It's just, if you Google everything, your brain stops working. Not to mention you start to see your own truth rather than the real truth.
Cody Fajardo backed up here after a penalty. So poor field position once again for the Riders. Just over 4 minutes to play, and they lead 17-6 here in the second quarter at home. Fajardo to his right, looking over there for Williams, and he was able to haul it in and get his feet in before he was pushed out of bounds by TJ Lee.
Yeah, different strategy. When they're backed up on their own 2-yard line, they tried to go run. So Jason Moss says, you know what, let's get Cody Fajardo outside of that pressure so he can run or throw the ball. Gives him 2 options. He chose to hit Duke Williams. Great accuracy on the throw.
Second catch of the game for Williams. Been targeted 5 times, hauled in a couple for 22 yards. 2nd and 4 now for Fajardo. Up to his own 13, 3 receivers to his right, looks to his right, throws to his right, and that one through the hands of Kean Schaefer Baker would have been enough for a first down, and instead they'll have to kick it away.
You remember that one? Sometimes we said early in the first quarter, sometimes you just miss a throw, and Cody had missed an out throw. Sometimes the receiver just drops the ball, and that's exactly Keon Schaefer Baker did there. He wants that one back.
3 touchdowns already this season, had 2 in all of 2021.
Having a great year.
Timeout, BC.
Leading his team in receptions and yards.
Targets as well. They're not messing around with Schaefer Baker this year, getting him involved heavily. Lots to discuss coming up at the half. Kate, the panel.
And Big Daddy, Grandpa, Big Daddy Dunnigan. Congrats, my friends. That's awesome.
This will be kicked away. Edvik, good field position coming here. 47-yard kick. Nowhere to go on the return. Let's get an answer.
Come on, Ricky Ray.
Football trivia. Is it Doug Flutie?
Come on, Ricky Ray. Come on, Ricky Ray. Oh, it's Jason Moss.
Come on. How do we not see that one coming?
During the return,
You got us there.
BC number 23. The 10-yard penalty.
540 yards passing. Sometimes you go the conventional route where you played in the league and then become an offensive coordinator. You know, this all made a whole lot of sense. If we would have stopped Googling and started thinking again.
It was right in front of us the entire time. There he is. 22 straight completions in that game for eventually 540 yards.
You told me not to think.
Yeah.
A line from the movie you finally went and watched.
I did. I went and watched the new Top Gun movie. You've been telling me to watch for a month, and I have to say, you were right. It was awesome. Here's Rourke. And that is batted down. The big arm of DeMarcus Christmas getting in the way again. Second knockdown of the game for Christmas.
Yeah, he's trying to catch Willie Jefferson, who actually leads the league. Leads the league in knockdowns, the defensive end position. Has 50 sacks and 50 knockdowns. We'll see him tomorrow night in Willie Jefferson. No other player in the history of the league has that. Marcus Christmas taking a page out of that book.
2nd and 10 for Rourke. Has a completion far side of the field. Won't be enough. Found Scarfone, but he was once again wrapped up. The Riders have not missed many tackles so far here tonight. And because of that, they have a 17-6 lead as we hit the 3-minute mark of the first half on a Friday night at Mosaic.
Coming up, it's been all Riders so far, so we're going to talk all Riders. We're going to give Morrow a little love, Charleston Hughes, the defense, and have you guys heard there's a big game tomorrow night? I need more enthusiasm than this panel.
Yeah, we're going to need them to be a little bit more excited for that game tomorrow. We're going to be there doing it. I know I'm pretty excited for that one.
It's the calm before the storm, as we like to say.
Last game was terrific between those two clubs. Now this one will bounce all the way down into the end zone.
Alfred got the instructions after bringing it out to the 1.
Well, the Riders have been dominant. There's no other way to say it in their head-to-head battle against BC over the last little while.
Boy, is that ever the truth? 8-0. Take a look at those numbers. Last time BC beat Saskatchewan was in BC on August 17th. That game, Travis Lulay was the starting quarterback. Last time to win here was back in October of 16, and the quarterback for BC that night, John Jennings.
Wow. Now you're dialing it back a little bit here. Yeah. Long way to go in this one, just down 10. But Fajardo will look for more here. 95 yards, 8 of 13, and a touchdown for Fajardo. Dumps it off. Williams, what a tackle. Wrapped up immediately at the 40 by Marcus Sales.
We're seeing good tackling.
Yeah, both sides.
Both sides. We're seeing real good tackling from DBs, linebackers. Good form tackles. Some of these plays trying to get you know, Duke Williams has a chance here. He gets the ball, turns the corner, has a chance to try and make a guy miss, make a move on Sales, and Sales keeps that low center of gravity, keeps his feet moving, and drives through the receiver.
3 receivers to the right here for Fajardo, working from his own 41. Steps up, hammered, and is able to hang on to the ball as he is popped by Guacham. And for Guacham, his 2nd sack of the season.
A long way around. They put Luchez Purefoy, the former Rider, up in the line as if he may come on a blitz but doesn't. Inside pass rushing, Guacham got there. He just has to be careful not to get a taunting call after the fact.
Little standover there, hey?
Yeah, a little
bit. Just a little bit.
I saw that. He got away with that one.
Quick little look. Shai Ross waits for this back at his own 25. Redvik was waiting to kick it away.
Procedure, Saskatchewan number 30. It's a 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
It's an interesting 5 yards because any kind of a return here, and Nathan Rourke's going to have some time to at least get field goal range. Important 3 points and just a little bit of momentum going in at halftime.
Redvik averaging just over 45 yards per kick this season. Lets this go from just inside his 20. Ross, eyes on it, slides underneath it at the 32, near sideline, and he's got nowhere to go. Torpedo down the field was Nick Daly, and he wrapped him up. BC's got 7 points so far tonight. Not very conventional, though, I don't think.
3-8 by field goal, a safety by their defense with Mario Alford bringing it out to the 1, although when you bring it out and have the week before 113-yard missed field goal return,
you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, you get the green light every now and then. Missed field goal and a punt single. It's a 7 points.
Still time to strike for more. 1:42 on the clock. 4 receivers wide side left for Rourke. That's where he's going to look, and he's going to go down the field for Hatcher, and he hauls it in down at the 35. Biggest of the game for Keon Hatcher, and the Lions are in business late.
Layered seam routes here as Hatcher's here, and they're going to try and pull with Rhymes to get a little bit of hesitation back there on the back end, and then Hatcher blocks out nicely. He's going one-on-one against Amari Henderson, who ends up picking him up down the field and blocks him out for 40 yards.
3rd catch of the game for Hatcher. He's got 58 yards, a huge chunk of them coming right there. Just over 1 minute and 20 on the clock for Rourke. A ton of time. Completion again, down inside the 25 as he goes back. Scarf home for his 2nd catch of the game. Did not have a catch coming into the game tonight.
And stick with the game plan now at 1 minute 16. Plenty of time to stick with the game plan and even get James Butler. They like James Butler in the red zone, which they're knocking on the door of right now.
It was 11 yards, good for a 1st down. They'll give it to Butler this time, tries to cut it back, and he does. Down inside the 15, stays on his feet, and eventually is tackled at about the Rider 14 for a pickup of around 8 yards.
A little change motion here to try and freeze the defense. Butler from the left to right. Really nice cut back into the middle when he sees Nick Marshall flash from the corner position.
Butler with 29 yards on 8 carries. 2nd and 2. They'll just push that line ahead, looking for the 1st down.
Change up in the defense for Saskatchewan. They've got Moncrief, and I've seen him drop back and play. Remember, Mike Edom was hurt a couple series ago, so he has not returned.
Moncrief around?
Yeah, 6'2", 220-pound Derek Moncrief. Such a great athlete. He could play safety, probably play corner, put him out there, he'd be fine. There he is back there playing safety.
30 seconds on the clock for Rourke. Hatcher again towards the end zone. Stopped just short. Riders defense got there just in time after a pickup of 11.
Well, we showed you that graphic where Nathan Rourke has been distributing the ball to all of his targets, and Keon Hatcher has done a real good job replacing Brian Burnham, who should be back next game for BC.
Ball on the Rider one. Rourke to keep it, trying to push ahead. Did he find the way home? Stopped short. That'll bring up second down with 15 seconds on the clock.
So when they take James Butler and flash him out of the backfield, they're hoping, the Lions, that a linebacker will go with them, like Darnell Sankey or Larry Dean. If they don't, then it's a wall you got to try to break through.
Rourke will get a second crack at it this time. Up over the pile, and he's in. Touchdown, Nathan Rourke, his fourth on the ground this season, and the BC Lions cut into the lead just before halftime.
Yeah, all momentum for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at home, 17 points up. We showed you how BC sort of really unconventionally had scored 7 points with a safety and a field goal and a punt single and all of those things. But you relax in this game for one drive, and it's in your end zone that quickly. And right just like that, Nathan Rourke's got himself some momentum. And with the convert here, it's a 3-point football game.
Rourke is 12 of 16 for 170 yards through the air, and then has that touchdown now on the ground. Sean White out for the extra point. And he puts it home to cap off a 7-play, 73-yard scoring drive for Rourke and the BC Lions. And as Glenn said, we've got a 3-point ball game, kind of living up to the hype these two teams here.
Absolutely, and 70% of the games in the CFL this year have been decided in the final 3 minutes. We're sort of heading in that direction, aren't we? Here's what happens if you think you're going to go in at halftime with the big lead and then and relax for the final minute in a Canadian Football League game. It'll be in your end zone within that minute. I guarantee you. That was the Hatcher catch. James Butler, a nice cutback, and then on the second try, Nathan Rourke in the end zone.
Yeah, they wasted no time. Hatcher, a big part of that drive, now has 69 yards of 4 catches here in the first half. And we'll see how the Riders regroup after allowing some points late in the second quarter. And now the panel's going to have to change things up too.
Yeah.
Wintoff set to kick it away from the 30. Alford watches. Does he have a trick up his sleeve here late in the quarter? Back to the 30. Alford stopped just beyond the 35. Gang tackled and taken down with just a couple of seconds left on the clock. Fajardo 9 of 14 for 96 and a touchdown. Rourke 12 of 16 for 170. Jamal Morrow making some plays for the Riders, and Keon Hatcher on the other side of the ball through the air for the Lions.
Yeah, when I think of the Jamal Morrow run, that 28-yarder was early in the first quarter. He has 6 for 39, but you know, if I'm the Saskatchewan Roughriders going into halftime, probably thinking about that. Like, how do we get Jamal Morrow more involved? Because we kind of forgot about him in that second quarter.
Friday night football matchup between the BC Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Excellent first half. They're going to break it down right now. So let's send it back to the studio with Kate and the panel.
And that panel is David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stiegel. And you're right, Dustin, we did have to change things up. We were going to talk all Riders all the time, and then that 73-yard drive did this, and then we move along in the show. We will get to that in just a moment, but first, let's give a little love to Charleston Hughes, Matt. This man's 38 years old, and moving the way he does is so impressive. It's nice to see him back.
Yeah, it's not like he's been blowing it up this year. He's just kind of taking the stage again, and he's taking full advantage of it. His timing is impeccable off the line of scrimmage, and he's going to work on Figueroa, on the left tackle for BC Lions. And watch how he gets underneath the pads here. He just gets right in these pads, and he just drives him right in the lap. And it's a collapse of pocket. It's meeting Rourke's house. And I can guarantee it here, This is right around the corner. He gets a sack fumble here that gives him 135, and he just keeps coming. Watch the spin move inside. You think he's going to go outside? No, it comes back on the inside, and he doesn't get Rourke into play, but there's Sankey finishing him up, making Rourke throw the football before he wanted to. And, guys, I was talking to you in the beginning, watching that first half, and I was saying, man, it's just about beating the man in front of you. And Saskatchewan, for 58 minutes of that half, was beating the BC Lions in a big way, and Charleston Hughes was a big part of it, keeping Nathan Rourke very uncomfortable.
Yep, definitely.
And you know, to me, that's the key. Then you let off the gas, and 2 minutes before you know it, kids in the end zone.
Yeah, you said it in the first quarter. You said Sask is playing faster, and you were right. That's what I saw in the first quarter, playing faster. And defensively, when you're playing zone and you're playing fast, you can play really good zone football when you play with speed, because really you're dropping to a spot and then you're just rallying, and that's what you saw them rallying. Jaden Delpy, he's hopped in, he's playing in the defensive backfield and some linebackers, some nickel. He's flying around. You saw him from deep come down, play the alley. He's up there in the line of scrimmage, buzzing, shooting gaps. Rookie from University of Alberta, playing some good football. Shout out to Mike Adam. He's one of the toughest guys and good player for a long time. And when he was down, and we talked about when he was down the way he was, not a good sight, because he's a tough dude. If he's down like that, it's likely not good. But the speed of the Riders' defense allowed Jason Shiver's defense to play really good zone.
They were playing with a lot of speed early, and that speed, I think, was not frustrating, but, you know, it was allowing Nathan Rourke not to get going. But with the style, with the play, the way he plays, he has that poker face. You don't know if he's up by 50 or he's down by 50. And as long as he's on this field, he gives his team an opportunity. Early on, they were struggling, but that's Nathan Rourke. He's going to find a way to keep his team in the game, and his team understands that. If you're playing with a quarterback who's bad and you're down, you can see some heads start going down. But these guys know they have a guy who's going to get him the ball, who's going to keep him in the game and give him a chance to come back and win the game. So right now, he's doing a great job. They're in the game. They are down, but they definitely have the momentum. And I love the fact you talked about Charleston Hughes. He's the last player in the league that I actually played against, so that makes me feel bad. He's the last player. Hanging on, baby. Hanging on.
No, when you look at Nathan, the thing that impresses me, as much pressure has been in his kitchen in the first half, he climbed the pocket there and threw that strike to get that drive going there, and it sparked that football team.
Right.
And it's amazing how level-headed he is under pressure and how he just stays the course. To me, that's huge on the road against his football team.
He handles it very well.
It was evident, we talked about in the pregame, it was evident that the Riders wanted to get Duke involved. They threw the ball to him 5 times in the first quarter. I think they only completed 1, so compliments to the Lions defense for holding on.
And Fajardo's just under 100 yards in 30 minutes of play. You know, he looked like his knee was not a problem for him, escaping there a couple times. But, you know, Cody's Jason Moss calling a good game, high percentage throws. The touchdown was on an inside fade to number 2 to the boundary. Quick stuff.
Got to think that they're going to go back tomorrow a little bit in the second half, though, because it worked so well, and why they got away from it, we don't know. But 17-14, we got ourselves a great football game on Friday night.
We got a big one between the Riders and the Lions. Charleston Hughes knocks it out. That's his 3rd forced fumble of the season. To the corner, and he's got it. Touchdown, Saskatchewan. Fajardo picks it up over the middle. He's got Williams towards the end zone. It's the end. It's close. Pushes ahead over the pile, and he's in. Touchdown, Fajardo.
A huge matchup between the Blue Bombers and Stampeders.
And he's got a completion to Malik Henry. Henry's got the Jets on 89 yards. Looking towards the end zone. He's got it. Oh, bounces up and is picked off. Mario Houston. The football finish. It should be an excellent rematch on July 30th.
You could argue that game back in Week 6 was the game of the season so far. Ended up being 26-19 for the Bombers. Well, guess what? The highly anticipated rematch goes tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We can't wait. It is the cream of the crop of the CFL so far this season. Jez, question is, can the Stamps get it done this time?
They're sick of the Bombers.
They are sick of them.
They're sick of them. I mean, look, seriously, this has been domination for a long time. And last week, and I know what you always say, Mill, a win's a win, a loss is a loss. The Stamps had them last week. They probably should have won that game. They should have won that game and didn't. How sick are they right now? Again, you can promise that. And KJ said it after, Kamar Jordan, after the game, he said, I want to play a lineup tomorrow. They're frustrated, and I want to see what this team comes out with.
Before the Bombers were at the top of the mountain, who was it? That's the Calgary Stampeders. You're expecting them to go to the Grey Cup. Those Calgary Stampeders want that back. Bo Levi Mitchell knows what it means to be the guy. He's not the guy right now. It's that man right there, Zach Collaros, and he's trying to get that back. That game last week, I hear what you're saying. I should have a ponytail right now, too, but I don't. It means nothing. I don't care what you should. They didn't. But you know what? Saying all that, I think the Calgary Stampeders, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think they are going to win this game. Yeah. I know how Bo Levi Mitchell, how focused he's going to be, how well he plays coming off a bye 14-2. They're at home. They're saying they're going to have a hostile environment. That's not why they're going to win, but I think they are going to win this game.
Yeah, it sets up that way. Winnipeg had to go after they beat Calgary 2 weeks ago, and they had to go to Edmonton and play a very physical football game and grind one out towards the fourth quarter. But the reason why I'm going with Winnipeg and still on that train is because Zach Collaros is 24-2 as a starter for that football team. Doesn't matter whether he's home or on the road. And they get Nick Dembski back, and I think that's a big get for them because I think he fills a lot of capabilities that they're missing on offense now, making people miss, getting those third and second and short situations. Give it to him and let him do his magic. And I get it. These are the two premier teams right now. We're seeing that's the top tier. We're seeing tonight the second tier as far as I'm concerned. And we're blessed to be watching these two football teams play tonight.
Remember what I said earlier?
Tomorrow night's going to be even better.
Field goal kickers. Field goal kickers is going to come down to
all
that.
day.
Wow.
But no Greg Ellingson either, by the way. Like, Greg Ellingson was huge in that game, too. No Greg Ellingson. Right?
I mean, as many times as you say that,
for sure.
It was balling.
That ponytail joke, I laugh every time.
I would look good with the ponytail.
You guys keep talking about your hair together. Anyways, let's see how Bo Levi Mitchell has fared after a bye week. He has an impressive 14-2 record, 66.2 completion percentage, 4,295 passing yards and TDs compared to INT's 33-9. So what's that? I think the Stamps have a chance. It's pretty much what I'm telling you here. Meanwhile, we've got a game to be played here. Riders up by 3. Sarah Lesky standing by with Charleston Hughes. That interview coming up next. First half stats presented by Ches.
A lot of targets to Duke Williams in the first half. Like I said in pregame, it's going to be about those 50-50 balls down the field in the second half with those BC Lions defensive backs and big Duke Williams.
All right, let's get you over to Sarah Lesky, who is standing by with Charleston Hughes.
Charleston, Nathan Rourke had been sacked 4 times heading into this game. This defense was able to get to him twice in the first half. How did you do it?
You know, that was part of our game plan, is to get after the quarterback. And, you know, week after week, we got to strive to be the best defensive line in this league, no matter who is in the game. So we got a lot of reputation to uphold.
They were able to pull within 3 late in that second quarter for it. How, as a defense, do you get some of the momentum back?
We definitely got to get some of the momentum back coming into the second half. You know, we got to get a couple more stops. Well, a lot more stops, really. But we just got to play better football in the second half.
Thanks, Charles.
Thank you.
All right, congrats to Charleston Hughes, 5th on the all-time sack list. His Riders with some work to do in the second half, only up by 3. We'll get you back to Mosaic right after this.
BC Lions trailing 17-14 at the half at Mosaic. TJ Lee is with our Sarah Orleski.
TJ, when you look at this Riders offense, what's the key to slowing them down in the second half?
We got to stop the run on first down and then play the sticks on second down. Get off the field. Easy as that.
What was the mood in the locker room at the half?
We've seen everything they got, you know. We need to come out and make our plays, though. And if everybody win their one-on-ones, we're going to win. Special teams is doing good. We just got to get offense going, and defense needs to stay stout and make turnovers.
Appreciate the time.
Yep. I mean, game-changing plays. That's what we want to do.
Game-changing plays in game 100 for TJ Lee. Team leading 3 tackles in the first half for TJ Lee.
I like how he just wanted to be clear on one. I want to be clear on something. Game-changing plays.
It'll be the Lions defense that'll go to work first here as Flintoff is set to kick it away. What are you expecting in the second half here?
Well, I expect to get back to the sort of the fundamentals, little run game on first down, probably from Jamal Morrow. We'll see.
Mary Alford takes it just inside his own 20, looking for a hole on the near sideline. Not going to happen. He is forced out of bounds by Josh Woods. And Cody Fajardo will come out here to start the third quarter.
Yeah, good news for Saskatchewan is that Cody Fajardo, and again, I'll knock on wood here, but Cody Fajardo's knee looks okay. It looked fine. It was concern of that coming in. He's got the brace on. His accuracy was there. Nice back shoulder throw on the short fade to Jones, and then got the quick game going. Now the other side of the news, 9 of 14, 96 yards, under 100 yards passing in the first half.
4 receivers, wide side right to start here. That's where he's going to go. He has a completion to start the half as he gets it to Justin McInnes. Second catch of the game for McInnes.
Yeah, back in the lineup after missing a game. Boy, they were hit hard. There was COVID protocols, there was some suspensions, there was starting to get some guys back, and Kyron Moore is very close to returning as well.
Be a big boost for this offense as well. There's another completion, and a nice job by McInnes to hang on to that as he was hit basically exactly where they had to go to get a first down.
You know, when TJ Lee said to Sarah, then, you know, on second down, we want to play right to the sticks. Well, the sticks are right here. That's the sticks. Watch TJ Lee do exactly what he told Sarah. I'm going to play right to the sticks. So when I see him sit down there right at the first down marker, that's where I make the tackle.
1st and 10 on the Rider 48 for Fajardo. Hands it off this time. Is there anywhere to go for Jamal Morrow? Not really. Dukes his way for a couple of yards on first down.
So now the sticks for TJ Lee becomes 2 yards in front of the first down marker stick. That's what he's meaning. And that last one, he played the sticks but right at it, and it gave enough for Saskatchewan to get a new set of downs. So now you want to tighten up just a little bit more so that you're playing 2 yards in front of the first down marker. So there's a tackle that was right at the sticks. Forward progress got the first down. Right there, you want to play it 2 yards short of that.
Fajardo pressured, not going to get this one off. They will get home and wrap him up for the sack. Matthew Betts, second sack of the season for the first-year BC Lions.
Straight 4-man pressure, but a real good inside move on Rogers.
That's one way to get the ball back. Vedvik stands at his own 30. Shai Ross awaits the kick at the BC Lion 15-yard line. First possession of the half will come up empty for the Riders. Towering kick will eventually bounce at the 30. And a quick hop right into the arms of Ross after a 40-yard kick from Vedvik. Matthew Betts didn't have a sack last year at Edmonton, but he's got a couple already this season for the BC Lions as he fits in well with his new club. Welcome back to Regina. A little bit of history tonight for Charleston Hughes as he moves up into a tie for 5th most career quarterback stats.
Yeah, just last week he just tied John Bowman, who was on the BC Lions sideline and was one away from Mumford. Got that strip sack earlier in this one, so he's tied with Joe Mumford and trying to track down James Quick Parker.
As a tackle, a sack, and a forced fumble so far 40th quarterback that Hughes has sacked in his career. Down the field, going up and getting it again is Hatcher, and he hauls it in at the BC 50. 21 yards.
Nice touch on this throw. Sometimes quarterbacks got to zip it in there and, fit it into a tight window. Sometimes you want to put a little air on it, on a deep ball certainly, and then there's those ones that you got to just kind of caress into that soft spot between the secondary and the linebacking core. Keon Hatcher doesn't know where the defender is, so he's protecting the football as if he's right behind him.
5 catches, 90 yards, best in the game. Hatcher on either side of the ball. Oh, nice footwork here by Rourke. Gets it away, and he's got a completion on the Riders' side of the field. 3rd catch of the game for Scarfone. But how impressive was that?
Yeah, I mean, when we talked to Nathan Rourke this week, I asked him about how much he works on just the straight fundamentals with Jordan Maksimic, and he said, our offense is so footwork oriented that I am constantly working on my footwork. Watch Derek Moncrief free off the edge and then little hop inside, great feet, reset, and get the ball out.
Now you see me, now you don't. Now he'll step up under center, pushing ahead. Look to me, that's right below us. Looked like he had enough for a first down there.
And Moncrief goes back to the fundamentals now, too, in his mind. I guarantee he's walking back and forth, back to the huddle going, don't jump when you're blitzing the quarterback. Do not bite on a pump fake and jump, because as soon as you jump, you can't redirect.
Looked like Steph Curry setting up for a 3, and the defender just goes flying by every time.
Exactly.
Step around and make a play, and that's what Rourke did. Made another one, which sets up the first down for them here on the Rider 50, trailing by 3. 3 receivers to the left. Now 3 to the right for Rourke. 200 yards passing in the game. 6 wide is what they go with here. He gets it to Lucky Whitehead. Whitehead knocked down, maybe a little friendly fire there, but picks up 6 yards on the first down play.
Yeah, this is an adjustment by Jordan Maksimic because it's reading Larry Dean, the linebacker. If Larry Dean is going to be free and decide to go ahead and go after the quarterback there, then that little hitch pass to Whitehead goes right where Larry Dean usually lines up. Now, if Larry Dean stays and drops, he goes and tackles Whitehead, and maybe Rourke holds the ball and goes a little deeper with it.
They need 4 more for a fresh set. Butler out into the slot to the left. Rourke looks, has Butler over to his left. Now he's on the run. Down the field, a completion inside the 30. And it's back to Scarfone again, who's having a game here, getting an opportunity with the rest of this outstanding BC Lions receiving core. 18 yards there for Scarfone.
Boy, I'm enjoying watching this. The footwork from Nathan Rourke tonight. I mean, just recognizing an inside pass rush movement that he might be able to get the edge, and those quick feet get him outside, and then again, setting up to reload with an accurate throw.
Lions marching down to the Rider 26. This time they'll give it to the running back. Butler stays on his feet, made a couple of men miss, and eventually tracked down just before he got to the Saskatchewan 20.
It's been tough slugging for him tonight. James Butler just 9 carries, just over 30 yards so far tonight. But again, this is the #1 rush defense in the league. Allowed just about 74 yards a game. And as you mentioned, that's after 143 against Andrew Harris last week that added to their total and still kept them #1 in the league.
Yeah, a number like that's going to blow it up a bit for sure. 2nd and 6. 3 wide side right for Rourke. Looks to his left. Now comes over the middle. Cotoy has it, and he's got a first down for the visitors.
When you talk to Jordan Maksimic, you talk to Nathan Rourke, they all bring up Javon Cotoy. And it's not even as if we're asking about Javon necessarily at that moment, but they all come up with, we got to get the ball to him more. There's a lot of players that don't want to tackle Cotoy.
We'd like to welcome our viewers joining us on TSN 5. You got here just in time. Lions looking to strike, down by 3. 7 to play in the 3rd quarter. Rourke has time here. He's got a ton of time. Looking down the field, nowhere to go. Now he's going to dump it off. One-handed by Rhymes to the end zone, and he's in.
kinds of time from the offensive line for Nathan Rourke to stand back there, have himself a latte with 3 shots and oat milk. Just hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. That's the 4th read, and now we're just scramble rules almost, but I'm still in the pocket, and Dominic Rhymes finds it and then stabs it with one hand. Oh, what a play by Dominic Rhymes.
Laid out to get it, too. Kept those feet up in the air, finishing off an 8-play, 81-yard drive. 5th touchdown of the year for Rhymes, who had just 411 yards and a touchdown in injury-riddled season last year. And now he's closing in on 500 yards already, 5 touchdowns as well. And he's had some spectacular ones. Put this one on the resume as he hauls it in one-handed, lays it out to get home. BC Lions on top, 21-17.
Class rookie taking out bullies in my all-black hoodie. Man of mystery, you know the history.
Caught all 3 balls thrown his way, but this one the biggest.
He has the crossing route underneath, and Nathan Rourke read that one a couple of times, but he didn't like what he saw there. He went into Sankey's. Now stop it here, guys, because this is where Rhymes says, okay, now the time is up. I've got a scramble rule. Even though my quarterback's still in the pocket, I got to find a scramble, find the hole. He does that, stabs it with one hand, only needed one, and dives into the end zone.
Lions now with a 4-point lead. Will kick this away. Alford takes it cleanly at his own 16. Near sideline, stays on his feet, back out to about the 40, and no further. BC Lions, they were trailing at one point, 17-4. They have changed that. Rourke through the air, finding Rhymes for the touchdown. Are they line dancing? It's country music night in Regina.
It's Friday.
Fajardo, 6.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. 107 yards passing. Rourke on the other side, 246. He's going to be passing here. That's batted down, almost picked off after the deflection. But it does fall incomplete. Ben Alatic right in his face.
Yeah, Alatic lines up off the edge, and we've seen a couple of Saskatchewan knockdowns tonight. Here's one for the BC Lions, and he almost redirected and got to that. Wanted to make sure that Fajardo couldn't recover it and run with it, but
Alatic getting an opportunity to start with Lacombo out. 3 to the left, 3 to the right, but pressure right up the middle. There's a flag as Fajardo takes off, tripped up from behind and taken down by Tehema.
yeah, and this could be holding anyway against Saskatchewan, because the interior lineman, the interior D lineman for the BC Lions basically read the snap count.
Saskatchewan, number 64. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
It was David Menard who got the great get off from the interior of the line right here. David Menard's anticipating the snap count, and just as it's being snapped, he's out of his stance. That causes the holding call on Evan Johnson.
Excellent jump there from Menard.
Those are one of the plays where a holding might have saved a big hit on Cody Fajardo.
Vedvik stands at his 30. Clock ticks down as he waits to kick this away to Shai Ross. Ross contained in the return game so far tonight. See if he can bust one here. He's going to run under this ball at the 25. 43-yard kick. Ross now near side of the field, nowhere to go. He is wrapped up and taken down. In the early parts of this game, it was the Riders defense that was the difference. BC Lions defense stepping up now. Sione Tehema tracking down Fajardo on the play. Many people around the league impressed with that man, Nathan Rourke. For more on one of his teammates who likes him a lot, let's send it down to Sarah Leslie.
Yeah, try to find me someone, Dustin, that hasn't been impressed by Nathan Rourke so far this season when you look at what he's been able to do. The straw that stirs the drink, according to Craig Dickinson when asked about the opposing quarterback. Now, one thing that Nathan said is that he's still having to adjust to navigating all of this. He loves playing football, loves his teammates. It's not all about the attention, though, and one of the things that you hear when you speak to teammates or coaches is the lack of ego that he has, how impressed they are, the fact that he prepares, and this is one I love, he prepares as if he's trying to become the starter with the work ethic that he's showing. Now, Darnell Sankey was asked about trying to stop Rourke and what the key is, and he said that being a young quarterback, he doesn't have an established identity. What he does one game, he might not do the next. Makes it a little bit more of a challenge. The key for this Riders defense, focus on the fundamentals.
Rourke's going to start here. There's a flag, though, which will give us time to add to what Sarah said about he doesn't have social media.
Procedure, which BC
and
number 50.
I don't know how he wastes all of his time.
Well, he's 24 years old, so any 24-year-old listening right now will say, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And he's been that way for like 6 years.
Yeah, he locks in. Joel Figueroa told us that, you know, the offensive line is just so impressed with how, first of all, they're working together, led by Kelly Bates, but that Nathan Rourke has put all of that other stuff aside. He's the first guy in the room, and he is working every day.
First and 15 here, and he's going to look down the field. That was Hatcher. It would have been a spectacular catch if he hauled that one in over his shoulder.
Think about that for a second, though, where we are in the world right now, and giving up social media and saying, like, this is not, I ignore it sometimes or I put my phone down sometimes. He's not on it, period.
Doesn't know about the Instagram and the TikTok.
Yeah, he's watching video so that his guys up front will play like this and play hard and keep him clean in the pocket. And they're impressed with the young man, I guarantee you that.
This Hatcher on that last one, he's hit him 5 times tonight. And we look his way again. Second and 15 for Rourke. Some pressure coming from the Riders. Far side, and he does go to Hatcher. Tried to cut it back.
What a tackle.
And eventually they will just hang on and not let him go anywhere. Moncrief had him locked down.
Well, and again, this is a second tackle by Derek Moncrief in space. One was against James Butler early in the first half, but this one, there is tons of room for Hatcher. He gets it real early so he can turn. And how many times do you see the receiver win that battle on a cutback? He only needed 3 more yards. Moncrief held him short. That was one great tackle in the open field.
Does put Hatcher over, well, right at 100 yards in this ball game on 6 catches. 3rd and 5, they'll kick it away. Flintoff, low kick this time. That will bounce just inside the 40 and roll out of bounds on the play. MLS on TSN heats up tomorrow. Look who it is!
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the football fan. New England takes on Toronto FC, while Nashville goes up against the Whitecaps. Both games kick off at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on TSN.
Sometimes it's not easy being green.
Look at those track men. Very comfortable he is tonight, supporting his team that trails by 4. Fajardo guns that one in there, and they've got a first down to Duke Williams. For Williams, his 4th catch of the game.
A lot happening on this play. A little fake to Jamal Morrow up front. Try to freeze the linebackers a little bit, and then right over the top on the quick slant as Cody moves one way, he's thrown back against the flow. Duke Williams
gets that ball out to the Rider 47. Just over 3 minutes to play. 3rd quarter. Williams behind his quarterback, now over wide side slot to the left of Fajardo. And they're going to dump it off and try to set up a screen for Morrow. Bobbled it, was able to haul it in. Stays on his feet and pushes it up towards midfield. Give him bonus points for effort from Jamal Morrow.
Low pad level. Keep the shoulder pads low. If you keep the shoulder pads low as a tailback, you get out in the screen. You can tell from the receivers on that side of the field, it looked like Justin McInnes was breaking down just to make a block downfield. and trying to help out his tailback, but see the pad level staying down, so the tacklers are just falling off.
Gave him 7. Leaves him with a 2nd and 3. Back to him again. This time he cuts it up the middle, and that'll go for a first down in the hands of Jamal Morrow.
Yeah, good patience here from Jamal Morrow. He showed you some speed and the ability to shed some tacklers with his shoulder pads. Now there's patience here. Let the guys develop their blocks. Let the play develop down the field a little bit. Get a push from Rogers, the right tackle. Little bubble to get the first down.
Tehema eventually wrapped him up. Near side, back to Williams. He's wrapped up, but lunges ahead as he had sails around his ankles.
Another good tackle by Sales. He ran into the right over here at Cornwall Center. The ball right beside our hotel. Ran into Ryan Phillips over there and talked a little bit about his defense. Feels like they've got the ceiling. They're not close to the ceiling yet. They're playing great. They're confident. He loves the veteran back end, and said, but we've got lots of room to grow.
Look for a big play here. 2nd and 5. They're going to bring some heat. Fajardo running for his life now. Will they get there? They do. They take him down heavily as Fajardo ran out of room to run, and he gets taken down.
Yeah, this is an example here, I think, Dustin, of where the knee brace actually hampers Cody Fajardo's ability to throw on the run, especially when he's going this direction. Now he's got to try and flip his hips around and get that wonky knee out in front of the throw.
A lot of pressure to put on that knee.
To use that to get that torque that he would need, and that's why I think he was so frustrated there. He just couldn't physically get his body around.
Ibudabaya eventually tracking him down. This kick, not a great one.
Penalty, yep.
From Bedvik. And the last thing you want to do if you're the Riders right now is help out the BC Lions in any way late in the 3rd quarter.
Illegal punt out of bounds. Saskatchewan number 70. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down BC.
Take a look at the unorthodox drop, although we see it quite often. I know John Ryan has done it, the former Saskatchewan punter, and they can get that backspin when they drop it point down. And Craig Dickinson said, what was that? What exactly was that?
It's a really wide field.
That was quite the expression, wasn't it?
Here's Rourke. Has some time again, and he's got Catoy. Catoy stays on his feet and eventually is tracked down right near midfield.
See what I mean about just the tacklers that try to just knock Catoy down. But he is big and strong. I mean, 6'5", 230 pounds. But he is strong out of the backfield, strong on that little curl. Now watch, this is Darnell Sankey. Sankey throws his 245 pounds right at him and kind of bounced off.
Rourke's at 276 yards, 20 of 25 as we near the end of quarter number 3. They'll hand it off to Butler, and he's taken down after getting maybe a yard on first down. Miles Brown there to upend him at midfield, and that is where the 4th quarter of this game will start. And it is the BC Lions, who trailed at half, now head into the 4th quarter with a lead on the road. They are up 21-17 on the Riders. BC Lions have lost 8 in a row to the Riders. Right now, they're in the driver's seat, leading 21-17.
Well, 276 yards passing for Nathan Rourke. In the first quarter and early in the game, Charleston Hughes was providing a ton of pressure and was winning the battles between Ken Perkins and Joel Figueroa. And there's been 36 defensive plays. Our stats guy, Lenny, has been tracking it for us. And 36 defensive plays, 18 against Figueroa. In the third quarter, we didn't talk much about Charleston Hughes. He's still 38 years old, and they got to try and get pressure on Nathan Rourke because he's really settled in and completing the football.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, that Riders defense early in this game really made an impact, had the turnover that led to that Fajardo touchdown to Tevin Jones, but since then, Riders offense, not a lot of great field position to start drives. Wonder if the defense has a play up their sleeves here as we start the fourth quarter at Mosaic. Rourke, he's going to take a deep shot right away. He's got Rides and he hauls it in just inside the 20. No, incomplete. Popped out. There's a flag back at midfield. Fireworks to start quarter number 4.
See what the flag is, but that's back-to-back plays by Amari Henderson if this stands.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Saskatchewan number 91. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Anthony Lanier. Take a look at his path to the quarterback. He goes out and around, and I don't know about that one.
This time they'll get it out to Whitehead. He is wrapped up. What a tackle by Moncrief. Lucky was going nowhere.
That was a knockdown by Amari Henderson down the field. I just want to go back and take one more look at that roughing the passer. This has been sort of let's say an inconsistent call over the last couple of weeks. I talked to Darren Hackwood about roughing the passer and the standard. It really hasn't changed from the start of the year. I guess it was just that throw at the end around the waist was fine, but throwing him down as he rolled was where he drew the flag.
2nd and 11. Crowd trying to get in the head of Rourke. Moves it quickly, and he's got a completion to Hatcher, who rolls his way ahead, but will still be short of a first down.
Another tackle by Moncrief. This linebacking core, they came in 1 and 2, Larry Dean and Darnell Sankey. 1 and 2 for defensive plays. Up there in the top 4 for defensive tackles. Dean has made 8. Sankey has made 7 already tonight. And Derek Moncrief is climbing that ladder too at 4. And he's made some plays in the open field, some big tackles with a lot of space around him.
Sean White, 1 of 2 tonight. Knocked one home from 16 yards. This one a 39-yard attempt from the left hash. And never in doubt. White quickly off the field. Lions on top 24-17 at Mosaic on Friday Night Football. Fajardo starts on his own 40 here, down 24-17. And not a bad idea to get the ball into the hands of Schaefer Baker, who's had a little bit of a quiet night.
Yeah, back-to-back quiet nights, which is probably not a good thing. You got to get the ball to guys that can make it happen. He's one of the top players in the league in yards after the catch.
Second and 4 now for Fajardo. 4 receivers to his right. Looks to the left. Now comes over to Williams, and that's in his hands and out of his hands. And it falls incomplete. Brings up 3rd down. Couple tonight.
Yeah, and your number 1 guy's got to make that catch. I mean, it's as simple as that. Duke Williams, it was blitz pressure, a little bit behind him, but Duke Williams makes that catch 9 out of 10, and Fajardo goes, you know, he'll take responsibility for it not being as accurate as it could be, but star receivers, you got to make those catches.
Williams has caught just 50% of the balls that have been thrown his way so far this year. Ross takes it at the 25. Back up to about the 30 before he's taken down. Rourke with a 7-point lead has the ball when we return to Mosaic. Well, you look at dynamic duels around the league. Sankey and Dean have had terrific starts to this season. For more on that, let's send it down to Sarah Orleski.
They absolutely have, Dustin. In fact, both of them right now on pace to hit or eclipse the 100 tackle mark for this season. If that holds true, they would become just the second duo off of the same team to do it in the same season. The last ones are the only other ones. Adam Bighill and Solomon Elamimian, who did it with the BC Lions back in 2016. Defensive coordinator Jason Shiver says you can't really overestimate what these two have meant for it. They hit it off from the beginning. They have meant so much for this defense in terms of setting the tone, leading the way in terms of their veteran leadership.
They've combined for 15, make it 16 tackles tonight. Yep. Perfect timing there from Sankey.
Sankey heard you say it, Sarah, and he said, well, let me show you what I mean by these. Inspiration to flow to the football. This is scraping to make the tackle by the middle linebacker on the tailback. And then when you get there, you just kind of ragdoll him a little bit.
Lots to talk about Sankey. You have Moncrief in that group as well, and he's made some big plays so far here tonight. 2nd and 8 for Rourke. Far side of the field. Back to Rhymes again, and 19 hauls it in cleanly.
What a great throw. To just knife it out there. I mean, far side of the field, still 65 yards wide, even though the hash marks are moved in a few yards. That is still a long throw. It was accurate. It was on time. And if it's not on time, it's going the other way to the house.
Well, lots of people talking about Dean and Sankey, including their head coach, Craig Dickinson. Here's what he had to say.
First of all, they're great workers. Both of them work very hard, and they're consummate professionals. They take the game very seriously. They study. They look at a lot of film. They take care of their bodies. They eat well. And the third thing is they really love football. I think it is who they are in a lot of ways. I think football drives them, motivates them. I think it's where they get their joy. And I think what you're seeing is just two grown men that love the game and will do what they need to do to pay the price and to be as good as they can be.
Both great inspirational leaders. And Moncrief, 3 picks on the season. Riders need a pick now.
Here's Rourke, 1st and 10 on the 47. He's got Lucky Whitehead on 1st down, takes it outside the BC 50, and Rourke is over 300 yards passing for the 3rd time this season.
Larry Dean going to work right after we show the graphics. Sankey showed us a tackle when Sarah mentioned it. We continue on, and Dean says, here, I'll show you what I do.
Nine tackles for Dean. Sankey's been an impact player since the moment he stepped on the field in Calgary last year. Here's Rourke now, 2nd and 5. Gets it away, has a completion, and that good push ahead will make it close. It'll make it close here, just under 10 minutes to play in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, this is where coaches get over there and they start looking like they're lining up a putt. How close are we? And both Darnell Sankey and Larry Dean, they race to that tackle. There's 53 and there's 11.
Milligan in there as well, who's having a nice season. Almost 30 tackles coming into this game.
Big.
Steps up here, 3rd and 1. Does he get that yard? Looks like it. Flags on the play as well, as Rourke did find a path to a 1st down. Flag against the Riders. Either way.
Offside. Saskatchewan, number 91. 5-yard penalty. 1st down, BC.
Yeah, big 10 yards here, because 10 yards for the BC Lion offense right now puts them in Sean White's field goal range, make it a 2-possession game at the very least. So there's 10 yards that are crucial right now.
Work from the Rider 49. Butler takes it, finds a hole. Butler trying to stay on his feet. He's got a first down inside the 35, close to the 30 by the time they stop him. And for Butler, it's 18, his biggest play of the game.
Yeah, almost like the Riders thought this was going to be play action and that Rourke would keep it, and he ended up just handing it straight off tackle to basically a zone read type of play to just allow James Butler to read the blocking, and now they are in field goal range.
Nick Marshall stopped him from taking it the entire way. Butler stands in there to the left of Rourke as they work from the Rider 31. This time he guns it over the middle, back to Rhymes for his 5th catch of the game.
Good to see Mike Edem back in the game. I mean, this is a good drive for the Lions. You know, I don't want to distract from that, but Mike Edem left the game in a lot of pain earlier on. He's right up there to the left of your screen. Will actually make the tackle on this slant route to Dominic Rhymes. So he's got that elbow wrapped up. He led with his shoulder, so it looks like he's protecting it a little bit, but great to see him back in the game.
Toughing it out, trying to make a play for his defense. Whitehead, Hatcher to the right for Rourke. They'll hand it off to Butler, who cuts it back, tried to get it to the 15, and he's stopped there by Darnell Sankey. These guys are both closing in on double-digit tackles in the game tonight.
Well, competing against themselves for first in the league, and this offense, the BC Lions, boy, it's got a lot of weapons, and Brian Burnham is knocking on the door. Yeah, right. Knocking on the door to return.
9th play of this drive for Rourke. 3 receivers to his left. That's where he looks first. That's where he's going to go towards the end zone. Is it held on to? Yes. Javon Coutoy, holy smokes, hauls it in with a man draped all over him. And the Lions open up a 13-point lead.
Well, that Saskatchewan defense in the last couple of plays there of this drive, they looked like they were tired, like hands on the hips. Not quite getting there in time. Edem coming on a blitz was close, but if you don't get there from the safety spot, the hole is down the middle. Throw it up there. There's no safety in the middle to try and take that one. Great read. Again, Nathan Rourke processing the defense he sees, the information they're providing him, and going right where they left.
It was Amari Henderson trying to make a play on the much bigger target, 6'5". Coutoy kind of mistimed his jump, but still was able to haul it in. His 3rd touchdown of the season. Rourke now at 336 yards, 2 touchdowns, 27 of 32, and that touchdown.
Pops, Sis, Daria, Ariel, Rihanna, and Jadiel. Big up everybody.
The entire family getting a shutout there from Javon Coutoy.
Mountain Mama. You hear? It's country night.
Yeah, it is country night.
They're singing it.
Come on now.
Country roads in the background.
It's a great night to be here.
Yeah,
we're country guys, so
I like it. I love it. Want some more of it.
The tunes have been on point tonight. We will say that here at Mosaic. Riders need some sort of spark. The Lions have scored 27 points in a row.
So that last touchdown to Javon Coutoy ends up in a man look. Here's Rhymes, there's his man, there's Coutoy. It's going to be here and here. It ends up man-to-man along the lines, or the coverage for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and it's Moncrief at the top who's got to cover on this outside route. So that breaks outside, and that gets Amari Henderson in a bit of a bind. And he hesitates for a second with no safety help because Mike Edem went on a blitz. Inside position gained by Coutoy.
Still time for the Riders, but they got to get this ball moving down the field. They'll have a completion up towards the 40. Back to McInnes for 6 yards. That's his 4th catch of the game. Only Duke Williams has more.
Yeah, and you got to now, your 3-down football, and the clock becomes the enemy, and you got to get the plays called on the line of scrimmage with Cody Fajardo.
Needs 4 more yards to keep this offense on the field. They're going to bring some pressure. He gets rid of it. He's got a completion, and that'll take them outside the 50. Schaefer Baker hauling it in.
Sarah Orleski was asking before the game about Keelan, or Kyron Moore, I should say, and said that he's really close to returning. Now, after this game, the Riders have a bye. That will help.
3 left, 3 right for Fajardo. And he put everything he had into that one, found the window, and he's got a first down to his running back, Jamal Morrow.
Because the one thing that I think the Riders offensively are missing a little bit is a deep threat, a guy that can just take the top off the defense and get down the field. I mean, Duke can do it, but he'll do it
differently.
Yeah, he does it differently. He does it route running, and Keon Schaefer Baker has the speed to do it, although we haven't seen a shot down the field for him.
Fajardo again steps up over the middle. He's got a completion inside the 30. The Lions are saying no, and they're going to wave it off. And it was Williams again. Duke couldn't haul this one in.
Yeah, that's a couple that have been just slightly behind him, so he has to put the brakes on. But you got to make that catch. I mean, he's had 3 of those tonight. Crucial moments that hit his hands and didn't come up with it.
We'll take some instructions from Fajardo and slide over to his quarterback's left. 2nd and 10. Fajardo's in trouble. On the run, they're going to get to him and take him down. Matthew Betts, 2nd sack of the night, comes around and tracks down 7 in green.
I think Cody Fajardo is frustrated because he wanted some of his receivers to come back to him. Because as he rolls this way, it's going to be Betts chasing him down, and he doesn't know how close he is. It's not about him outrunning. He wants his receivers in scramble drill. If you got a deep route, come back towards the quarterback.
That's looking there like a guy who was highly touted in his draft here, ended up going high in the 1st round. Now 3rd and 11. Fajardo pretty much got to have this. He's in trouble again. Turns, fires down the field, intercepted. Picked off by Purifoy. The former Rider's going to take it back down along the sideline, cuts it back in, and is eventually tracked down at the 30. Lions defense comes up big.
Well, a bit of desperation time when you're down 2 scores. I mean, you're down 2 possessions, approaching the 3-minute warning. The intended target was Tevin Jones, and it was just the timing of it all, because this is desperation. Throw it up, hope your receiver can win a jump ball, but Tevin Jones had just turned around and come back towards him and didn't realize the ball was already in the air.
As he turned around, that ball went over his head.
Exactly.
And there were flags coming back the other way. It's unnecessary roughness on Tehama, so that will back them up, and they'll place this at the 45-yard line of Saskatchewan.
After the interception, we have unnecessary roughness, player misconduct foul, BC number 47. It's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be BC first down.
Now the fans here in attendance tonight know all about Purifoy and what he did here with the Riders. Comes up with a big play, dropped right into his hands after Jones had got turned around. Rourke now with a 14-point lead will look to seal this thing away for good. Just over 3 minutes on the clock. Right up the gut with Butler. Almost had enough for a first down there.
Well, he returns Luchez Purifoy. I know the Riders didn't want to have him leave this football team. They believed he was just so versatile. Look at that. That is quite the glove look. Let's see. I'm every nightmare you've ever had.
That's that mask he wears out when he wears it out quite often.
The creativity.
Look at that.
Look at it.
Custom-made Pennywise mitts. And pushed ahead, and that'll be enough for a first down for the BC Lions. With 2 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock, the visitors looking to snap a losing streak against the Riders are in full control. That look kind of summed it up there for Cody Fajardo as he looked up to the sky. And things started well for the Riders. Defense put their offense in a good spot. They had a 10-1 lead. Since then, it was 17-4 at one point.
Yeah,
it's been all BC since then.
I think that big drive by Nathan Rourke right at the end of the first half, like there was a minute 16 left when he got the ball back and he put a major on the board, made it a 3-point game, took all the momentum, and they haven't given it up.
Rourke's at 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. Probably see a steady diet of this man, Butler. Riders know it. There's a flag on the play as he is scooped up by a couple members of that Saskatchewan defense.
Holding, BC number 50. That penalty's declined. Second down.
Phil Norman with the hold.
You know, a couple of plays early on, saw Charleston Hughes get in, Anthony Lanier made a couple, but since then, again, the veteran offensive line playing together have not just continue to roll, and James Butler all of a sudden, he's up to almost 70 yards.
Rourke's going to be throwing here. Big hits. It was Hatcher who went up to get it and got popped before he could come down with it.
Complete pass. It will be third down.
Saying he got rocked there by Nick Marshall on the outside, and the ball didn't hit the ground at some point here. Or did he catch it?
Like he almost kept that up on his shoulder. We'll have to get another look at it here. That was loose on the way down.
Loose there. No, bounce. Good call by the official.
Still having a great night. 110 yards on 7 catches. They will bring out Sean White. First miss of the season tonight, but made a couple as well. This one from 46, and it is wide left. Alford in trouble here. And eventually he'll just concede and take a knee. Brought one out in the first half that put his team on the one. They conceded a safety shortly after. I believe made it 17-6 at that point. It kind of was the first points that really got BC going.
It really was, and then that final drive before the half made it a 3-point game and 27 unanswered points by the Lions since then. But you take a look at, just tread on the tires, so to speak. The Riders have played 7. This is their 8th game of the season. They'll go into their bye this coming weekend. The Lions are playing game number 6. They played 5 coming in, so 2 games less than the Riders.
Mason Fine into the game for the Riders. And that pass falls incomplete, looking for McInnes. What do you think of Fajardo tonight as he gets the rest of the night off here with a minute 38 left?
Yeah, I think the good news is that he didn't re-aggravate that injury, that knee injury, that he looked like he was semi-mobile, not like he normally is. I mean, part of his game is running the football.
Didn't really run it tonight. Flag here is fine. Gets tracked down from behind. Boy, Betts is all over the place.
But, again, watching this team the last couple of weeks, what's missing? You're trying to think, what's missing offensively? And, Duke Williams not going to have a night like Duke Williams had tonight. He dropped 3 or 4 he should have caught.
Third down.
Some of them were key moments. Duke Williams not going to have that kind of night every night. Keon Schaefer-Baker is being underutilized in the last 2 games, so he's got to get back and involved. But where's the deep threat? Where's the guy that takes the top off and opens up all the intermediate routes? You know, if it can be Kyron Moore coming back, I mean, Schaefer-Baker's got some speed now. I just feels like that's what's missing.
Could be Emilus.
Could be
the guy they mixed in a little bit on returns. 7th overall pick in the draft.
But it's tomorrow here. You know, he's got the speed, but he's also got to be a guy that Jason Moss and Cody Fajardo have confidence in to take shots deep with him. You can't just have him running off all the time as a decoy, because they won't be respected by the secondary. So, you know, you get Kyron Moore back in the lineup, and Jason Moss now has a guy.
Misconduct fouls. BC, number 98. Saskatchewan, number 51.
They're going to see a little bit of each other coming up here. As you mentioned, the Riders have a bye. And then they get Edmonton. They're in Edmonton, and then it's home and home with the BC Lions in late August. So 2 huge games coming up a little bit later in the summer between these 2 teams. BC gets Edmonton right away, and then Calgary, Saskatchewan. Couple games against the Alberta-based teams as they hand it off again here.
Yeah, again, rubber meets the road time. Yeah, I mean, now you're playing. You know, the BC Lions improved to 5-1, and now they've got their sights on Calgary and Winnipeg in the division. Try and move up that ladder, and they've got all Western opponents. You mentioned Edmonton, Calgary, then 2 against Saskatchewan. They'll play 1 in the middle against Montreal, back-to-back Calgary, and then you're deciding which one of those 2, and we'll have Winnipeg, Calgary tomorrow night.
That should be a good one as well.
If we can get there.
Get out of my way, says Butler. Yes, if we can get there. As of right now, it's gonna be a tight one. Yeah. There's nothing like a quick turnaround and you get an email saying, hey, your flight's been canceled.
Yeah, your flight's no longer there.
We'll see. We'll be doing the game from somewhere. Oh, look at that. Running angry.
What's James Butler at? He's so different than this in the style of running like Andrew Harris than Andrew Harris was last week at 143. He had all in though with
player misconduct foul. Saskatchewan number 58. The penalties decline. First down.
With Rourke at 20 yards rushing and James Butler, they've registered that last run, should be at around 100 yards.
Rourke in one more time as the clock ticks down inside 30 seconds. Back to Butler. He's going to be taken down just inside the 35. Now just a chance to take a look at the standings here in the Wild West of the Canadian Football League. We said Calgary, Winnipeg tomorrow at McMahon, and BC sitting pretty as well. That's a nice race at the top, especially if Calgary's able to hand Winnipeg their first loss tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know, like Edmonton's not out of it. They've got work to do, but they're not out of it, and they're starting to figure it out over there too. We saw some more players released today as Chris Jones is figuring out his lineup. But both divisions tight and both divisions very different.
Riders into a bye week with 3 consecutive losses. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they need the rest. Cody Fajardo needs the rest. And maybe they get Kyron Moore back, and that will really help this offense get a little more explosive.
For the first time in his career, Cody Fajardo has lost to the BC Lions. The Lions snap an 8-game losing skid to the Riders, and they do it in style. The arm of Nathan Rourke impressing the nation once again. 27 of 33 for 336 yards and a couple of touchdowns to roll in to Mosaic and spoil the party on Friday Night Football. BC Lions dancing their way to 5-1. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's send it to SportsCenter.
level. The West in the CFL, whole nother level versus the East in the CFL.
Big time.
Very competitive, and we had a good game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lions and Riders. And now the Riders, they've been going through a little bit. They lost 2 straight against the Argos, and the Lions did not take it easy on them either. Lions, Roughriders midway through the first. Cody Fajardo floats it up for Tevin Jones, who hauls it in for the TD. Saskatchewan looking to extend their win streak over BC to 9 straight games. They haven't lost to the Lions since August of 2017. Early in the second, Fajardo punches it in himself. Things are looking good. Riders up 17-4. End of the half. Nathan Rourke looking for Keon Hatcher, who hauls it in for the 40-yard completion. Nicely placed ball to shield the defender. BC looking for their first 5-1 start since 07. Moments later, Rourke sneaks it in for the score. Lions down 17-14 at the half, looking for more in the third.
Rourke has time here. He's got a ton of time. Looking down the field, nowhere to go. Now he's going to dump it off. One-handed by Rhymes to the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown and a beauty. Dominique Rhymes holds it in and takes it to the house.
Dominique Rhymes with a spectacular one-handed grab, stretching up for the touchdown. BC up 4, headed to the 4th. And Rourke not done there. Early in the 4th, finds Javon Katoy in the end zone. Oh, nicely done as BC scores 28 unanswered points to beat the Riders for the first time in almost 5 years. Now, Charleston Hughes picked up his 135th career sack. He's now tied for 5th on the all-time list with Joe Montford. Nathan Rourke has a 16-6 touchdown to interception ratio this season. His 16 passing touchdowns led the league. Keon Hatcher had his second 100-yard game of the season. For more, let's go to Kate and the panel.
And alongside David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stiegel, and how quickly this one turned. The Riders came out flying in this game, and then all of a sudden, the BC Lions completely take over. Nathan Rourke, what a performance he had in this one. And Matt, it was important for him because he said he wasn't satisfied with that game against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and then he comes out for 336 and 2 TDs in this one.
Yeah, and he weathered the storm early. You know, heck, we were doing highlights on Saskatchewan's defense at the half, right? Charleston Hughes getting his 135th sack, and he was going off, and they were outmanned in the first half. But Nathan Rourke, he was 12 of 16 for 170 yards in that first half. In the second half, he goes 15 of 17 for 166 and 2 touchdowns. And I'm talking about his feet that kept him in this game, what I'm so impressed with. And you saw it there, just eluding people here, stepping up, keeping his eyes down the football field, finding an open target. And just here, it's just, again, he just simply is well-versed with his feet, and he's on point. And here, the poise, I mean, the Russian 3. Milt, you're screaming at the TV at this point, like, what do you keep playing zone for down there? And it's right, you know, because this kid, I mean, any quarterback's going to eat you up when you got that amount of time. Like a guy with the footwork of Nathan Rourke. Really impressed with this kid, moving his team to 5-1, a tough place to play. Hadn't won there in a long, long time. And he just seems to continue to believe in himself, and he got all his targets involved. Heck of a performance. Third time in the 6 games he's played, he's gone for 80% completion plus.
And guess who's coming back? Brian Burnham, maybe their best receiver.
Can you believe it?
Coming back soon. But look, they also have, they have the trees and Rhymes and Katoy, the big fellas. They got the speed with Lucky and then BB coming back. That's a core. That's a dangerous core.
Powerful. Yeah.
Maybe as
with the defense
as threatening as anybody else. I think they want to talk about some defense here.
Yeah.
Coming off the edge all game was the effort, the speed. Matthew Betts was an absolute monster. Talk about a guy with a motor. He's got a motor and talent. He was flying around. He had 2 sacks. Their defense just got after Sask. And after the first quarter, you said it. The first quarter, we said Sask is playing faster. Whatever adrenaline or whatever the Sask took in before they came out the locker room, that wore off. Or BC, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Or BC settled in, and you saw a different defense. Shout out to Ryan Phillips and John Bowman, that defensive line. They played a heck of a football game.
They got that defense playing very well. And coming into this game, we talked about the Rough Riders getting some players back. from injury and one from suspension being Duke Williams. And I was really hyping up. I thought Duke was going to have a big game, and that was not the case. And they were targeting this man. I mean, he had 11 opportunities to make plays, and there were some drops where you're expected to make those catches. 10 out of 10 times. When you're Duke Williams, you expect to make those catches. And I'm not saying these catches would have helped them win the game, but these keep drives going. And Duke Williams make those catches all the time. And I know he's frustrated. I know he wanted to have that big game. He's coming back, and he didn't get an opportunity to play their last game, and they lost 2 in a row, but he didn't help out. So now he has to put it behind him. But the worst thing that can happen now is they don't play next week.
Right.
They have a bye week. They've lost 3 in a row. 4-4, it's going to be difficult to keep pace with those other teams in the West. So he has to bounce back. This team has to bounce back. They still have an opportunity, to do some damage in the West, but they got to get it going.
And they got to take that extra week to regroup now. Meanwhile, for the BC Lions, they are 5-1 for the first time since 2007. You have to love that on the West Coast as we send it back to SportsCenter.
Thanks, guys. New on SC, Nathan Rourke with our own Sarah Orleski.
Nathan, I know you weren't happy with the win last week. The celebrations continue, but I know you weren't happy necessarily with your play last week, that you were pretty hard on it. When you look at the way that this offense was able to come together, especially as this game went on, you happy with this win and the performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just to address last week, I need to be a little bit better about seeing perspective. A win is a win, and it's hard to win in this league. There was a great example last week. It's a great example this week against a really hard team, one of the hardest environments to play in the CFL. So happy of the guys to go down early, offensively not have anything going. Defense got us some stops, got the momentum rolling, and it's all about finishing in this league, and we did that. I'm really happy for the team and proud to be a part of it.
So what was the key to getting that momentum going and changing the tide?
We just thought next play we had to move the ball. They were doing a good job. It was loud, not the ideal situation, but we just had to go one play at a time, take what they were giving us, and make some plays. Just execute a little bit better, and that's what we did.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
And we got 2 more CFL games still to come in Week 8. FanDuel has the undefeated Blue Bombers as 1-point favorites in Calgary as Winnipeg looks for back-to-back wins over the Stamps, and the Red Blacks are a 5-point underdog in Toronto as Ottawa is still seeking its first win of the season. Catch it all on TSN.